place to place doing drugs.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Shedrick Bennett is suing his ex-wife, Megan Bennett, and her mother, Mary Jo Ward, for the return of his dog.
Order. All rise. This is case number 162 on the calendar in the matter of Bennett versus Ward Bennett.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Gentlemen, have a seat, please.
Mr. Bennett, this young lady is your former wife.
Yes, ma'am.
And the person with her is her mother.
Yes.
It is your claim that they have a dog that belongs to you.
Correct.
And you are suing for the return of the dog or the value of the dog.
Just a dog.
What kind of dog is it?
King Corso Pit Bull mixed.
And from whom did you purchase the dog?
I received the dog from my son, Jason.
Did you breed the dog?
Not yet, no.
Stand up.
I have not.
What do you mean you received the dog from your son, Jason?
He bought the dog. No, he no longer could care for him.
When did you buy the dog from your friend? In what month and year?
It was June of 2011.
And how long did you have the dog?
About 3 months.
And then what did you do with the dog?
I gave him to my dad.
Where was he living at the time?
In Madisonville and Cincinnati.
Who was he living with?
Himself.
So you gave him the dog somewhere around September of 2011.
That's correct.
And when, Mr. Bennett, did you and Mrs. Bennett marry?
August of 2013.
Prior to marrying, did you live together?
Never. Out of 2 years, out of 2 years of marriage,
No.
we never lived together.
You never lived together?
Never.
You are a truck driver.
Yes, ma'am.
Long-distance trucking.
Yes, over the road.
Between September of 2011 and August of 2013, when you and Miss Bennett married, who took care of the dog when you were on the road?
A lot of the times, most of the time, he was with me. I took care of him.
So is what you're telling me, when you would go cross-country,
Yes, ma'am.
the dog was with you?
Correct.
Is that what you're saying to me?
Yes, Your Honor. And I would have to say most of the time. Sometimes I left him home.
With whom?
My son, Jason.
Who else?
There were times that she kept him. Before her.
Before her? You had the dog, you had the dog for at least a year and a half.
He was with me or my sons.
So the answer is you did not take him on the road most of the time.
Most of the times when I didn't take him on the road, I left him at home with my sons.
Okay, fine. The dog hasn't been with you now since when? What month and year?
October of 2015. That's when Mary Jo began to take care of him for 2 months.
Now, why would she take care of him for 2 months?
I had gotten with a new trucking company.
Just a second. When were you divorced?
In August of 2015.
So after you were divorced,
Yes.
you asked her to take care of your dog for several months.
She asked me.
Oh, well, you just started telling me you were with a new trucking company.
She asked me if she could take care of the dog. I have it right here on
I'd
my
like
cell
to take
phone.
a look at it. Now, when you say, Mr. Bennett, you never lived together,
Yes,
even when you were married,
correct.
is that because you were traveling?
No, sometimes she would go on the road with me, sometimes just for a couple of weeks at a time. But when I come home, she would be at different people's houses. She would not come to my home. She would never come. She went from place to place doing...
Of what?
Of all the text messages that I have from Mary Jo, that's on my phone. And when I printed it out, it wouldn't leave her name or her number. I have all of the text messages from Mary Jo on this phone right here.
Well, this text message says, from you, you ought to just let him stay here. I feel safer at night with him here, too. Think about it before you say no. We got a good place for him here. He can still be your dog. Anytime you get settled, you can come and get him. But until then, he can stay here. That's what you said.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there was more to that then.
Shh. You're still working as a trucker, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Now, when you're on the road, Mr. Bennett, who's going to take care of this dog?
He can go with me. We have a pet policy with the company that I'm with. I'll also...
Really? Just a second. You have a pet policy.
Yes.
And the company permits you on long-distance trucking to take your dog with you.
Yes.
And which of your supervisors can I call to confirm that?
Which one? I have to look in the... I'm not sure which one.
Well, who
Because-
is the president of your company? What is the name of your company?
Celadon,
And where are they located?
Indianapolis.
Now, I'd like you not to waste my time, Mr. Bennett,
Yes.
because the people back there will get me a phone number. The president of the company will speak to me on the phone. Am I wasting my time? Are they going to tell me that they have a policy where you, as a long-distance trucker, are allowed to take a pit bull mix in the cab of a truck with you? Are they going to tell me that they have that policy?
Probably not.
Probably not. Right. So I'm glad you didn't waste my time.
Right. I do have a place for him.
Yeah. Right now, the dog has been with them for a year.
No, they
Almost
haven't.
a year.
No, they've been there just 2 months.
You told me it was October.
October of this past month. I tried to get him in January.
Just a second. The dog's there October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June. We're now in July. That's 10 months.
I tried to get him in January, and they wouldn't give him to him. I went to the police station. They went to the resident to get the dog for me. They wouldn't give it over. He told me to take it to small claims court.
Good. Now, there's no question in my mind, because your mother filed a counterclaim, which I'm going to dismiss. And her counterclaim is that this man got you hooked on drugs, and it was his fault that you were on drugs, and all that nonsense. Emotional
She was on
distress.
drugs since
I'm
08.
dismissing it because it's nonsense. It's not a cause of action. All I want to know is, you were married in 2013.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, dog ever at your house?
On and off the whole life.
Well, not the whole life, because they didn't marry until 2013. Were you together prior to 2013?
Yes, ma'am. And I did live at his house, which he says we never lived together. I did live there. He's saying he gave his father the dog. Really, I stayed at the house when he sometimes went.
Shh.
When he sometimes went on the road with him is
Never.
because I was on the road with him. And when he was at the house, it's because I was there taking care of
You
him.
never lived there.
I have it on my ID, ma'am. When I lived at his house, I did live there, and I did take care of the dog. When we separated, I took him with me to my mother's house.
What month did you separate?
Honestly, we got back together and separated so many times, it's hard to tell you a day.
Okay. During those periods of time, together, back, forth,
And back and forth.
back and forth, and back and forth, where was the dog?
Mostly, it's always been, that dog he's always been with Megan.
According to you, your daughter was dysfunctional for 2 years.
Oh, yeah, she
Just
was.
a second.
Since 08.
You know I'm not liking this.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
What other dog was there?
I had another dog named Jada. I had her for 8 years and with me every day.
Well, then you should have taken her to a vet once to get treated for heartworm.
And later today,
She told me she had cancer and she was dying, and she was my caregiver when I came home from the hospital, so I felt sorry for her because...
Listen to me, I'm not
Not
interested in
true.
your story.
But I let her have a...
I'm not interested in your story.
May I show you the thing with the
I'm
police?
not interested
That's
in your
my name.
story yet.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Shedrick Bennett says his ex-wife, Megan Bennett, and her mother, Mary Jo Ward, won't return his dog. The defendants are countersuing for harassment and emotional distress.
Now, according to you, your daughter was dysfunctional for at least 2 years.
Yeah.
At least the 2 years, because it's the 2 years that you're blaming it on him. So she wasn't taking care of herself, so she wasn't taking care of the dog. That's what I'm asking you. So the dog was with you.
That dog was with me, or that dog was with Megan. When the dog was with Rick, it was because Megan was with the dog, and there was another dog too.
What other dog was there?
What was her name?
Shh.
I
What
had
other-
another dog named Jada. I had her for 8 years, and she passed away of heartworms. And she was
When?
with me every
When?
day.
Well, then you should have taken her to a vet once to get treated for heartworm.
I did, but it was...
Should have taken care of the dog before it was too late. Do you have any vet bills?
No, I do most of the stuff. I just got bills
Do you
for
have any
like when
vet
I was
bills?
dog food.
I'd like to take a look at them. What was the matter with the dog in 2015?
an ear infection.
And who took the dog to the vet?
I did,
You did.
yes.
When did your other dog pass away?
Approximately a year ago.
And in whose custody was the dog when it passed away?
Me.
It was with you?
Yes.
Where?
In the truck. I was with a different company at the time, and we did have a pet policy.
Anything else?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Okay, the incident that happened when he went to the vet, it's because I had him at my mother's house with me. I tied him to a post. He was getting a bath because he rolled in oil, and he got attacked by hornets.
She tied him up.
And me and him was together at the time. When we was together, just like he took care of me, yes, he would take care of my dog. But when we split up...
Listen to me. It wasn't your dog.
Yes.
It wasn't actually your dog. It came to him. It didn't come to you. You did not purchase it, and it was never given to you.
It was given to me.
By whom?
His son was going to get rid of him and give him to somebody else, but
So is what you're telling me that your relationship with Mr. Bennett goes back to 2011?
This didn't happen in 2011. That dog wasn't... When he's
dog's
saying
not that old.
The dog's only 3.5 years old right now.
The dog is
Why-
4.5 years old.
6/22/2011
Yeah,
is the
that's
date
not
of
when
birth.
he got the dog.
Well, but I'm telling you, this is from the vet report. From a reporting from the vet, the date of birth was 6/22/2011.
Okay, when I got with him, the dog was a baby. When I moved in
Is the
with him...
dog blue and white?
Yes.
6/22/11. Okay. Well, Mr. Bennett, I don't know at this point. I'm not sure what your intention is with regard to this dog.
I want it. I want to keep
I
him.
understand. I understand that you want it. I also understand that you're working. You have no place.
I do have a place.
Yeah, I know. I haven't heard about it yet. First, you told me that you could travel with the dog on the road.
He can stay with my sister. I have a sister.
Nice. Okay, right now the dog is very happy. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $500. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
He's my child. He's very important.
I'm glad that we get to keep Pup.
She's a drug addict.
I was clean until I got back with him, and he knew that I was an ex-drug user.
That's untrue. She's been on drugs since 08. I didn't meet her until 12.
He used that to keep me.
And she'd take care of her dog.
I got a feeling this ain't over.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Wright versus Spitzak. Step forward.
Diana Wright is suing her former friend, Carrie Spitzak, for the value of a car and a false restraining order.
How long have you and the defendant been friends?
Since, I think it was 2012 or 13. I'm not positive which year.
And why would she give you a car?
Because I had helped her out a lot. We had both helped each other out. I believe it was the end of 2012 or 13. Like I said, I'm not sure. I would take her son home from work for her and different things.
Well, that's different things. Taking a son home from work and giving you a car, two different things. This is what the case is about. You say she gave you a car, and then she took it back.
Yes.
And you want the value of the car.
Yes.
She says, yes, I gave her a car. But the deal was she was supposed to maintain the insurance on the car.
Right. That's right.
And she did not maintain the insurance on the car, and she took it back.
That's
she
right.
Said when she said when she took it back, it was a disaster.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, so I have just a few questions. She gave you what kind of car and when?
Mercedes ML 320, and it was on April 15th. She had been promising it to me for 3 years.
I don't care.
Your Honor,
I don't
may
care
say
whether
something?
she... No.
Oh, okay.
Here.
Correct.
Okay. And did you ever have the car registered in your name?
I believe that's what I have, because I started the transfer and everything. So,
did you ever have the car registered in your name?
yes, it is now.
It is now.
No, it's not, Your Honor.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Where is the car now?
It's been
Okay,
towed.
good. So this is what you had. You invested no money. Somebody
I
gave
have.
you an almost gift that
right.
fell through. Quiet. You gave away something that you no longer wanted, which means that you divested yourself with it. You no longer have it. It's gone.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Diana Wright says former friend Carrie Spitzak illegally repossessed her car. Carrie is countersuing for money owed and stolen property.
Okay. When did you have it transferred to your name and registered?
April 19th?
Of this year?
Yes.
I'd like to see that.
I believe that's the date she's looking for.
Great. Well, this was a salvaged car.
Yes. Your Honor, I have paperwork that says it's in my name from the police department.
Just a second.
Well, I did when I first took it away from there, from her house.
On the 15th of
Correct.
April.
Correct.
And on what date did you take the car back?
The 15th of April. I finally got a hold of her that night.
The same day?
Same day she brought it back.
That's not true.
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Just a second.
Okay. I called her for
Your
hours.
defense is that she failed to insure the car, which was part of the agreement.
That's right.
So you mean you found out on the same day that you gave it to her that
Yes.
she didn't have insurance?
Yes.
That was
Explain
not
that
the
to me.
agreement.
Okay. She told me she had insurance, and I thought, I'm going to double up on this insurance, and I'm going to go online, and I'm going to get her second insurance because I didn't want her to get in an accident and me be responsible. Could not insure her because of her credit.
Okay. Well, I don't know that.
Couldn't insure.
Just
So I
a second.
called her.
Just a second. Do you have any proof of that?
I have just what I wrote up and the emails I gave her.
That's not
Excuse
proof.
me,
Your
Just
Honor,
a second. At some point, she called you about insurance.
Yes.
I would like to see proof of insurance that you had insurance on this car on April 19th, which is the day that you told me you registered it. In order to register a car, you have to have insurance.
Right.
Show me that you had insurance on April 19th. That's easy.
Okay, I did not have insurance on the April 19th. And the agreement wasn't. I had told her that I could add it to my previous insurance that I already had for my car.
Well,
and she didn't want me to do that.
Just a second. You had a car at the time she gave you this car?
Yes.
Well, show me proof of insurance on any car.
Oh, I didn't know I needed insurance for that. Oh, wait, I've got the Geico things
Your
on my
Honor,
phone.
may I say
Great.
something? She told me she had cancer and she was dying and she was my caregiver when I came home from the hospital, so I felt sorry for her because...
Listen to me. I'm not
It's not
interested in
true.
your story.
But I let her have the car.
I'm not interested in your story.
May I show you the thing with the
I'm
police?
not interested
That's
in your
my name?
story yet.
Okay, thank you.
I read your answer. Your answer said, I gave her the car.
Right.
The condition was that she would have insurance.
Right.
And if you gave her the car and the condition was insurance, then you
Right.
had no right to take the car back.
But then she abandoned it and the police called me and told me to come and get it.
I did not.
That's how I got it back.
What's $39.65?
The car that I have.
You have a car insurance policy for $39.65?
Yes.
Does anybody
I
pay
have an excellent
$35
driving
for
record.
insurance?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by.
Are you the victim of a scam? Go to Judge Judy on Twitter.
Now, policy ending in 1851 will cancel on June 11th unless $39.65 is paid.
Correct.
Next one, your policy, $39.65 payment for policy ending in 1851 was unsuccessful.
Okay, then I'll find the other one
Okay,
because I
fine.
did make it right.
Fine.
Before it
Okay,
ended.
Fine.
May I-
Did you invest? Shh.
Again.
Did you invest any money in this car? The
Yeah.
answer is no, zero.
Yes.
Shh. You couldn't have invested any money in it, madam, because you only had it for an hour.
I did not have it for an hour. I had it for
4
a month.
days.
And, no.
From the
For
14th
a
to
little over
Right.
a month.
She came back and stole it.
She
and
had
it
the
for
car
2 months.
towed away
Your
from
Honor,
where I
you
had
went,
it parked.
and then you went and took it back?
She abandoned
Where
the
is the
car.
car now?
It's gone because of her.
Just a second. Where is the car now?
It's been
Okay,
towed.
good. So this is what you had. You invested no money. Somebody
I
gave
have.
you an almost gift
That's
that
right.
fell through. Quiet. You gave away something that you
Sorry,
no
sir.
longer wanted to a friend, which means that you divested yourself with it. You no longer have it. It's gone. Your claim is... And your
I have-
counterclaim is
No, Your
dismissed.
Honor, I have
I'm not
tickets.
awarding either one of you
I haven't been able to-
$5,000 on a salvaged car.
Your Honor,
Goodbye.
I haven't been able to say anything.
Please are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I'm homeless.
She gave me the car, and then she turned around and filed a police report saying that I stole it.
I won't help people anymore. I'm done. I'm done.
I can't trust her.
You have a pig,
Right.
but she got out of your yard.
Your Honor, this isn't the first time the pig has been on the property.
A pot-bellied porker goes hog wild.
The pig attacked my dog.
The dog was bit in the leg.
She was, Your Honor.
And she'll pay when pigs fly.
I watched with my own eyes as your pig attacked her dog.
She didn't go to the vet right away. She told me that the dog was fine.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Deborah Capra is suing her neighbor, Lisa Furnold, for vet bills and punitive damages after Lisa's pot-bellied pig bit her Great Dane.
Order.
All rise. Yeah, it's case number 159 on the calendar, the matter of Capra versus Fernald.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat, please.
Ms. Capra, do you and the defendant live in a rural area?
We do, Your Honor. Properties are about 2 acres apart. I have a map to show.
Is that correct?
Correct.
Are either of your properties fenced?
I have an invisible fence around my property for my dogs. I also have a stone wall around my property, except for a very small opening at the very end of my property. There is an opening in the wall.
Okay, so you have an invisible fence because you have dogs.
I do.
Do you have any fencing around your property?
My yard is fenced in.
What kind of fencing?
I have stockade, and then I have a chain link fence.
Okay. This is the problem. You have a pig.
Right.
Potbelly pig. How much does it weigh?
She's approximately 200 pounds.
Not what we think of, or what a non-potbelly pig person thinks of as a potbelly pig. You usually think of them as something small.
Right.
This one wasn't supposed to be small when you got it?
Yes, she was. Yes.
She was supposed to be small and surprised you.
Yes.
Is this the only pig that you have?
Yes, it is.
And is she inside your house?
Yes, she is.
And inside your yard?
Yes.
But she got out of your yard?
Yes.
At least once. And, according to you, came onto your property and bit one of your dogs.
Correct.
When was that?
This was February 20th. Your Honor, this isn't the first time the pig has been on the property.
I read from your complaint that it had been on the property a year before.
About 6 months prior to that, yes.
Without incident?
Without incident.
Well, first, can you explain to me if it could get off of your property if it's fenced?
We did have a tree go down. There was a snowstorm, and we had a tree go down. So
when? On what date?
I don't know the date of when
Well,
it
give me the
snowed.
month.
Approximately the end of January, beginning of February.
Okay, this incident happened on February 20th.
Correct.
Tell me what happened.
2 of my dogs were out.
How many dogs do you have?
I have 4 Great Danes. At the time, I had a 5th one because 3 years ago I used to breed, and this...
Don't give me a whole story.
Okay.
You had 4 Great Danes.
4 Great Danes. 2 of them were outside. I saw them run to the back of the property. I ran outside to see what was going on, and I saw the pig.
On your property?
On my property. The Great Dane that's not mine, I was looking for a home for, I brought into the house first because I wasn't sure how she was going to react with the pig. Obie is a very laid-back dog. I knew she would be fine. I grabbed the other dog, brought the dog into the house. I came out, and I wanted to take a picture of the pig with the dog because the last time it was on the property, my husband says, "Are you sure a pig was on our property?" So I went to take a picture of the pig. By accident, I hit a video, and it was recording. And during that recording, the pig attacked my dog.
I assume then you have the video.
I do, Your Honor.
I'd like to take a look at it. The dog was bit in the leg?
She was, Your Honor.
You have the vet bill?
I have vet bills. They have photographs of her
I'd like
wounds.
to see it.
These are all my vet bills.
Dog okay?
She's okay now. It was touch and go for a while. She was very close to needing surgery. I show her. She needs 1 major to be a champion. She comes from a line of champions. And it came very close to her needing surgery, which would have been thousands of dollars.
Well, she didn't need surgery.
Right.
So tell me, what were the total of your vet bills?
The vet bills I had totaled up were $626. That was just for my vet. I didn't charge her for any of the bandages or anything.
I just want to know what the vet bills
the
were.
vet bills were-
$626.
yes.
Now, when this happened, Ms. You, that your animal was on her property and had injured her dog.
No, actually, the Wareham Police Department came to my home and got me.
And said to go get your pig off her
Yep, I
property?
followed them over to her home. I went to her home. At that time, she had her dog in the house. I asked her if her dog was okay. I've never had an incident. My pig's domesticated with other animals and everything. And she told me her dog was fine and her dog was put in. She also stated that to my daughter that was there and to the dog officer. I mean, the
Don't tell me what she said to anybody else. Adam, that's hearsay.
Okay.
The dog was injured that day by your pig. I just saw that.
Okay.
Okay. I just saw that.
All right. Well, I have an affidavit from my daughter, too.
I don't care about an affidavit from your daughter. I watched with my own eyes as your pig attacked her dog. I saw the pig and I saw the leg. If you look at the video, you can see that. So my question is, did there come a time when the plaintiff presented you with the vet bill?
Actually, Animal Control gave me the original first bill.
Okay, so Animal Control came by. And did you ever, by the way, receive a ticket or anything else for having your pet on someone else's property?
No.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Okay. Then is there any reason, just curious, there any reason you have a ridiculous counterclaim for legal fees? What legal fees did you have to absorb?
I actually tried numerous times on what it is the dog was being treated for the medical bills, because she had told me that there was nothing wrong with the animal. I offered to pay the first bill. She refused to take the money from me. I apologize. And she said that she didn't want this to mean that I didn't have to pay her anything else. So I've tried to get...
You're talking about the first bill that came in right after February 20th.
Right.
Well, what if there were follow-ups as a result of the injury to the dog?
I asked her to forward me that information as well as the doctor's
So now
records.
you understand that you are totally responsible for the vet bills and the other expenses, including bandages and anything else that she had to...
I don't feel as though I am.
Okay. Well, if you offered to pay the first vet bill, which occurred immediately after the incident, so now we know that you do feel responsible because you do understand that your pig injured her dog. Why do you feel as if you're not responsible for any subsequent vet bills a week later, 10 days later, for follow-up care, for follow-up visits? I don't understand that.
First off, she didn't go to the vet right away. She told me that the dog was fine. She went to the vet 2 days later. All I asked her was for documentation from the vet on what she's been treated. She charged me on some of the bills for like a flea and tick collar. Why would I be paying $70 for a flea and tick collar? How does that have to do with anything?
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $700. Your counterclaim is ridiculous. It asks for attorney's fees, etc.
Well, I do have the Animal Control here that did witness it. Went out and witnessed
Animal Control did not witness what I just did. You just witness that video? Who's the Animal Control officer? Are you the Animal Control? Did you witness the video before today?
Yes, ma'am.
You didn't see what I saw?
I was not 100% sure that there was an actual bite.
You don't have to be 100% sure. You have to be here in a preponderance of the evidence. I saw the pig. The pig was on her property. It had been on her property before, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That's a no-no, right? She fences in her prop. Stand up. She fences in her property because she has dogs. She has an electric fence. Her dogs have collars. What you're supposed to do, if a tree is down in January and you have a 200-pound pet on your property, you fix the fence before February 20th. Doesn't that sound logical to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. We're done here. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
She stood there and videotaped it instead of removing her animal.
I actually had to call the police and call a neighbor to try to help get it off my property.
Walk the animal back?
I did try to do that. And I wasn't getting anywhere with that.
The woman set up a GoFundMe in the amount of $606.
I have no idea. I have no idea what she's talking about.
So she's scamming people.
She just felt as though she just wasn't responsible for this, and she was.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Mills versus Parker. Step forward.
Tyreen Mills is suing his former roommate, Jackie Parker, for the return of rent and property.
Mr. Mills, you rented a room from Mr. Parker.
Yes.
Is that in a townhome, an apartment?
It was an apartment.
How big was the apartment?
It was a 2-bedroom apartment.
How long had you lived there, sir?
Almost 7 months.
Did you have a roommate when you first moved in?
No, ma'am.
Did you ever have a roommate?
No, ma'am.
So Mr. Mills was your first roommate?
Yes, ma'am.
And when did you move in, Mr. Mills?
I moved in. I gave him money on the 26th of June.
How much money did you give him?
I gave him $700. It was $500 for the rent, $200 for the deposit. The 26th, I gave him that.
26, you gave him money.
Nice.
You don't deny he gave you that money.
Yes, ma'am.
And when did you move in?
The 26th, I gave him the money. He gave me the keys. The 26th, later that day, the 27th, I moved my things in.
Now, the lawsuit wants the return of all the money that you gave him.
Yes.
And the value of certain property that you said Mr. Parker took from you.
Yes.
And the fact that he illegally evicted you.
Yes.
Mr. Parker said he doesn't specifically address the illegal eviction, even though he changed the locks shortly after you moved in. He's never.
I'm sorry.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You changed the locks on him, thereby constructively evicting him, even though he had paid his rent. I asked you why, and you said safety reasons.
He became pretty aggressive after the second day that he moved in, which was on a Tuesday.
How aggressive?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Tyreen Mills says former roommate Jackie Parker locked him out of their apartment. He is suing for the return of rent and property. Jackie is countersuing for loss of property, threats, and assault.
Now, on what dates did you change the locks?
July 1st.
Now, the rent that he paid you, the $700, that was for July.
Correct. At the end of June, July. Yes, ma'am.
It was for July.
Yes,
he moved in on the 27th, so it was for July. Now, on what basis, sir, did you change the locks, thereby constructively evicting him from the premises?
It was because of a safety reason.
Let me hear.
As soon as he moved in, actually it was the 24th when I met with him, and then he brought the money over on the 26th, which I gave him the rent. It was getting pretty late, and I play sports on the weekend, so I told him, well, we can meet on, I bring the lease agreement.
Just give me constructively evicting him, even though he had paid his rent. I asked you why.
Okay.
And you said safety reasons.
Yes, ma'am. He became pretty aggressive after the second day that he moved in, which was on a Tuesday.
How aggressive?
I was trying to get the lease agreement signed with him, and then I'm a nurse and I work pretty late, so I was kind of tired. I said, well, let's just do it on Wednesday. And so he started yelling at me on Tuesday when I got home. He said, you got me coming home early just to meet you. And I said, and I was trying to be sympathetic and apologize, and he just kept going on. It was
just a minute. You mean you told him to come home to sign the lease?
No, when he gets home from work. I didn't know he took off from work early.
We're missing a beat here, Mr. Parker.
Okay.
You wanted him to sign a lease.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you make a time with him?
No.
Did you make a time? Did he make a time with you? No, he did not. Okay, so what time did you get home?
I think I got home around 7:30, because I skipped my class. I came about 7:30, I think it was.
In the evening?
Yes, ma'am.
And this was on the 20?
Yes, that Monday.
I don't know. So you have to give me the date.
Yes.
What date?
It was the 28th. I have
28th.
I have it on the lease that we signed. It says the date that we signed it. It was
28th. Okay, so it was the day after he moved in.
Okay.
On the 28th. So go ahead.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. It was just, then he just began to be very aggressive. And then after we signed the lease, we talked about the no loud music. And if you have company to come over, please be at a respectable hour, because I get up early in the morning.
Is all of that in the lease?
No, we actually verbally talked about that.
Can't, listen to me carefully. You can't have him sign the lease and then tell him what the rules are.
Oh, no, it was before. It was before.
Oh, that's not what, just a second. That's not what you said. Put your hand down.
I'm sorry.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You wanted him out. You said, you're smoking in my house. It's not working out. I'm a non-smoker, and I'm going to change the locks. And he says, I don't care what you do. Just have my money.
And these are the photographs where I woke up at 2 a.m. in the morning where he was smoking. My house was on fire.
Mr. Mills, what were you smoking?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Tyreen Mills says former roommate Jackie Parker locked him out of their apartment. He is suing for the return of rent and property. Jackie is countersuing for loss of property, threats, and assault.
Now, even if it's before, if it's not contained in the lease, it's not part of the agreement.
Yes, ma'am.
No smoking, no loud music, no cooking in the kitchen, big meals, because I see that that was an issue. Anything that's not contained in the four corners of your written contract doesn't exist.
Yes, ma'am.
As far as your relationship with him. Tell me what he did that inspired you to change the locks.
Well, that following Wednesday, I was in the kitchen, getting ready to clean the kitchen, wash dishes. He became very aggressive toward me, started walking toward me.
Aggressive is a conclusion.
Yes, ma'am.
You tell me exactly what he did.
He started cursing me out, and then because it all came over from that Tuesday when I didn't come and talk to him. And so after we had signed the lease, seemed like everything just did a 180. And his behavior toward me, and like slamming the doors, and I smelled smoke in the house. I asked him, I said, are you smoking in my house? He said, no. And I said, okay. Then I told him to lock the doors. I came home 2 nights in a row. My doors was unlocked, and he was nowhere to be found, so I knocked on the door. Then when I knocked on his door, I said, please, Tyreen, lock my doors. And then he started yelling at me. So I turned around, I walked away. I went in my room and locked the door. And so then after that, then on Thursday, everything he started coming at me and just like verbally attacking me. And then
okay,
I had to call the police.
You have to return all of his money to Mr. Parker. $700.
Okay.
Okay, you should have returned it before. You should have returned all his money before. He was supposed to be there the month of July. You locked him out July 1st. He had locks changed back. Now, you had a locks...
I'm sorry.
You had a locksmith come in and change the locks back? You never did?
No.
Okay, so when he locked you out, you stayed. When he changed the locks, you did not change them back?
No.
Okay. Do you have any proof that he changed the locks back?
Yes, I paid for 2 locksmiths to come out. On Friday, then when I got home, I saw the locks. I have a countersuit against him.
I
because
see.
He broke into my home. He's took both TVs out of both rooms, my air conditioner,
just a second.
everything.
Just a second. I know you have a countersuit.
Yes, ma'am.
And you say that he broke into your house.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me, what proof do you have that he broke into your house?
I have the police report. My locks, like both locks on my screen door was unlocked.
All I want to know is what proof you have that he did that.
I live alone. He's the only one in my home with keys to my home. He came in. He
Just
had my neighbor's son when he pulled in there because she knew he
just
was there.
listen to me. Your neighbor's not here. You can't tell me what your neighbor said to you. I'll look at the police report.
Yes, ma'am. Then he took everything. I have the
He didn't take anything yet until you have a witness that says that he took anything out of your house. You changed the locks. That's all that you know. And then at some point you came home and you found your house broken into.
Yes, ma'am.
And property missing.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And I have text messages also where I asked him to bring it back, and he was telling me to keep returning his money.
Just a
and
second.
for all the damages.
Just a second.
Okay.
Okay, now I'll take a look at your text messages because this tells me nothing.
Oh, sorry.
Give me photographs. I don't need photographs. First I have to find culpability.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, there's no proof, Mr. Parker, that Mr. Mills stole any property from you. You wanted him out. You said, you're smoking in my house. It's not working out. I'm a non-smoker. You're playing in loud noise, everything else. It's not working out, and I'm going to change the locks. And he says, I don't care what you do, just have my money, my $700 that he paid you.
And these are the photographs where I woke up at 2 a.m. in the morning where he was smoking. My house was on fire.
Yeah, I see the photographs of the...
And this is what woke me up at 2 a.m. in the morning. And
I don't care if it was 2 a.m. That's what happens when you have a roommate. Don't have a roommate. Live alone. You've been living alone for 7 months. Stay that way. Now, Mr. Mills.
Yes.
What were you smoking?
I was not smoking in his house. When I moved in to that room, he had candles burning, Glad candles, circle candles. They was on top of the wooden dresser.
You were not smoking?
No.
Okay. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $700. Your counterclaim's dismissed. We're done.
All you guys do is step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I moved in the 28th. I gave him my money.
He became very aggressive, and he was very homophobic. And
30th, he changed the locks. He told me he put my clothes and things on the balcony.
And I just wanted him out of my house, and so it became a safety issue. He's trying to fight me, and
when I went to go receive my clothes and things, they were not there.
I just told him to leave, and then he took all my stuff, robbed my house.
I'm homeless right now. All of my things are still missing.
Now I dial 911. I call the police.
I know to do a thorough background check before I just move in with somebody.
Best thing to do is to live by yourself.
Because I don't know what this guy's problem is.
Did he come to the house when you were there?
I was in Pennsylvania.
Absentee homeowners try to get a handle on their handyman.
How much did you pay him altogether?
$2,300.
You may not like the $2,300 worth of work.
But what they found left them floored.
When I discovered it was not finished, and I asked Clay why it was not, and he said when I got up on the ladder, I got scared because it was too high, and I could not finish the job.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Mary and Edward Boyer are suing handyman Jameson Clay Johnston for...
Order. All rise. This is case number 170 on the calendar, the matter of Boyer versus Johnston.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ladies, have a seat.
Mr. and Mrs. Boyer, you hired Mr. Johnson to do some work in a house that belongs to you in Arkansas. It is your claim in this lawsuit that he did a substandard job and did some work that he shouldn't have done, which you were caused to repair. at some cost to yourselves. Mr. Johnson actually has a countersuit. He said he did more work than originally contracted for, and you actually owe him money. I gather from reading the complaint, Mr. and Mrs. Boyer, that you moved from Arkansas to Pennsylvania. When was that?
We moved to Pennsylvania in April of 2015.
And when did you move back to Arkansas from Pennsylvania?
We moved approximately May 1st of 2016 back.
And your house has been for sale since what month and year?
We had it for sale by owner, which a friend of mine was doing first, and then we listed it.
Just a second. What month and year did you have it listed?
We listed it
by owner.
Oh, when we left the state of Arkansas in April of 2015.
Prior to that, had it ever been for sale?
No, ma'am.
So you subsequently, when you left, listed it with a broker?
No, ma'am. It would not sell. We contacted Laura Dreyer here. She's our realtor, and then she listed the house approximately February of 2016.
Did it sell?
No, ma'am.
Are you currently living in it?
Yes, ma'am.
So you moved back to Arkansas?
Yes, ma'am.
And you moved back into the house?
Yes.
Yes.
And you are currently living in the house?
Yes.
And is it your intention to remain in the house?
No, ma'am. It's still for sale.
And still hasn't sold?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, did you yourselves hire Mr. Johnson, or was that the realtor?
No, ma'am. It was me.
It was you?
Yes.
When did you hire him?
I hired him. The first contact with Clay was March 9th of 2016.
Did he come to the house when you were there?
I was in Pennsylvania.
I thought you moved in April.
To Pennsylvania. We didn't come back until about May of 2016.
So what was your contact with Mr. Johnson in March?
My previous boss, Bill, owns a lot of rental houses, and he has contracted with Clay to do his work, and he's a very trusted friend of mine, and so I trusted his judgment when I asked him if Clay would do work for us. He suggested him.
Fine. So we came with a recommendation.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have a written contract with him?
I had it over text, ma'am.
Written contract?
On paper, no, ma'am.
Do you have the text messages that form the basis of your oral understanding?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to take a look at them.
Okay, here's the initial list of things that he said he was going to do for us, and then the estimate down at the bottom was $1,200.
Okay. Mr. Johnson.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you tear off the wallpaper in the kitchen, study, and dining room?
Yes, ma'am.
Did he tear off the wallpaper in the kitchen, study, and dining room?
No, ma'am. There was no wallpaper in the dining room. We had a designer...
Just a second. This is what he says.
I know.
Tear off wallpaper in the kitchen, study, and dining room.
Yes, ma'am. If you look further down, I told him that there was no wallpaper in the dining room.
Fine, so don't take the wallpaper off the dining room, because there's no wallpaper there. Fix garage door. Did you do that?
No, ma'am, I didn't. It was on the estimate, and there was a latch broke on it, and I didn't get to it by the time they moved back.
Just a second. So did not fix the garage door. Make a drawer front for the cabinet on back of the kitchen bar. Did you do that?
No, ma'am, I removed it. Shh, oh, sorry.
The answer is no.
No, ma'am.
And paint it. So I assume if you didn't do it, you didn't paint it. Touching up any trim downstairs, which includes putting in and painting, clean up the backyard and repaint the front porch swings.
Cleaned up the backyard, the front porch swings, no, they were taken down.
No swings. Okay. Could you stand up, please?
Yes.
Tell me your last name.
Dreyer.
Miss Dreyer, you're the realtor?
Yes, ma'am.
And I assume you were showing the house?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you show the house while Mr. Johnson was working in the house?
I did not, but fellow other agents did, and that was the problem. It was just too overwhelming for buyers with all the chaos in there and the half painting and everything going on. They said it looked like
there was chaos before, because it didn't sell before either.
Right, and I'm the one that suggested that they get it redone.
Spruced up a little bit.
Spruced up, yes, ma'am.
Spruced up a little bit. Well, did you ever go into the house to see how it was getting spruced up?
Absolutely.
In what month?
When he started on it.
What about
in May.
What about after he started on it?
Of course, yes.
Of course. What did it look like?
He just wasn't finished, you know, half painting jobs, you know. He kept saying, well, I'm finishing up today, I'm finishing up tomorrow, and I'll have it all spotless. So.
Nobody was there. How much did you pay him altogether?
$2,300, Your Honor.
And what did you do for $2,300?
$500 of that was the initial part for the materials of it, and then paying the employees that I had.
Work did you do in the
I'm sorry,
house?
sorry, ma'am. I did the
slowly. Tell me exactly what work you did in the house for the $2,300.
Tore off wallpaper in the kitchen and in the study.
Tore off the
Primed
wallpaper.
walls.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Had to resheet rock walls to do patch-up jobs on certain areas so that I could primer and repaint. The trim.
Just a second. Did you finish any of those rooms?
Yes, ma'am. The dining
Painting.
room. Yes, ma'am.
Painting. So those rooms are finished. The
Yes,
dining
ma'am. And
room?
I have pictures of those.
I'd like to take a look at them. Dining room is finished, and the
Yes, ma'am.
library, did you say?
The study or bedroom.
Okay. The kitchen, what did you do to the kitchen?
Tore off wallpaper and painted the walls.
And you painted the walls?
Yes, ma'am.
Finished the kitchen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And this is a bedroom?
That is the study. Yes, ma'am.
Study. And you painted this blue?
It's like a silk gray.
Well,
Yes,
what is
ma'am.
this?
That is tape. Taping off the trim.
Did you ever take the tape off?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And the banister and these walls?
Yes, I painted those walls as well. Yes,
These walls go upstairs. You
yes,
painted
ma'am.
them.
Painted the room upstairs as well.
So how many rooms in total did you paint? You painted all this blue.
Yes, ma'am.
Any question about that?
The only very top edge because I could not safely get up there, and by the time I acquired a ladder, they were already moved in, and it was hard to move around.
Is the paint there?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, on the one he was saying that he did not acquire a ladder, he sent me a picture of it that went 3/4 up the wall and told me it was finished. And when I got home and discovered it was not finished, and I asked Clay why it was not, and he said when I got up on the ladder, I got scared because it was too high and I could not finish the job. I have
Okay,
pictures.
fine. So far, I'm seeing a whole lot of painting there. Did you buy the mulch, by the way?
She purchased the mulch through the materials. Yes, ma'am.
And what did you do with it?
I mulched the front flower beds. Yes, ma'am. I mowed the front yard and backyard.
Which he was not asked to do.
Oh, sure he was.
No, he wasn't.
I see the text.
Well, I mean, he said...
Just a second. I see the text.
Okay.
Sure he was. I mean, I'm looking to see whether he did $2,300 worth of work. Looks to me as if he did $2,300 worth of work. You may not like the $2,300 worth of work. You may not like the way he painted it, but he certainly was there.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
May we show you things that he did that we didn't ask him to do?
I saw the texts back and forth.
Take
Then
that.
say, don't touch it.
Okay.
And later today,
I would let him sleep on the floor in the living room along with his daughter, and his son would come over and sleep there and eat there and take showers.
Well, that sounds as if she was very nice to you.
She was very nice to me.
And why would you think she would steal your tools, which is what you're alleging?
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Mary and Edward Boyer claim handyman Jameson Clay Johnston owes for incomplete and substandard work on their home. Clay is countersuing for unpaid work.
Okay, how long, Miss Dreyer, was he there?
A couple of months.
So every time you went there, over that 2-month period, according to you and your other realtors went into the house, there were things going on there.
Yes, ma'am.
There were things going on there.
Your Honor, I have pictures of the foyer where he did not finish.
So, show, I'm looking. I'm looking.
May we show you things that he did that we didn't ask him to do?
Like, for example, the...
Just a second.
In our dining room.
Just a second. I saw the texts back and forth. He discusses the striping with you in the text.
Right, we did not ask him to
He
paint
then
that.
say, don't touch it.
Okay.
That's what you do. I read all the
When
texts.
he said he was going to remove the wallpaper in the text, I said, Clay, that's not wallpaper, nothing like that.
I read all the texts. He did $2,300 worth of work.
But, Your Honor, we have pictures of what he said he did and how it was done incorrectly. We have pictures of paint.
Then don't hire him again. You're not getting any money back from him. He did the work. He painted it. You were absentee owners. You had a realtor there. If the realtor looked at the job that he was doing and said to you, you know what? He's doing a terrible job, and you told him to stop, we have a different story. But it sounds to me from your realtor that this young man was there with other people and tried to be most accommodating to you. He mulched your front yard. I know what I paid to have somebody and I bought the mulch, just mulched front and backyard.
He also had a friend of mine helping him do that.
Your case is dismissed. You have no case. We're done. Your counterclaim is ridiculous, sir, and I'm dismissing it. You do understand.
Thank you,
For more
yes,
money.
ma'am.
That's not happening.
While you're excused, you may step out.
There is paint all over my ceilings.
I'm happy with it.
Paint all over the woodwork.
These are the very first people to ever complain about my work.
Everything Clay did has to be redone.
The woman's just unreasonable.
Make sure you know your contractor, who you're dealing with.
Probably get recommendations on the people you're going to do work for.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Montawine versus Flores. Step forward.
Edward Montawine is suing his work tools and loss of income.
Mr. Montawine, when did you go to live in the defendant's house? That was in April of this year?
Yes.
Were you homeless at the time?
Yes.
And you knew her from the mobile park home where she lived?
Yes.
She said you could come and live in her home, stay in her home. You were going to be doing some work for her.
Yes.
In the mobile home?
Yes.
She also has a shed, and you moved some things into her shed.
Correct.
She didn't charge you any rent.
No.
She let you move in April. Where did you sleep?
I slept on the front room floor.
When exactly did you move in April?
I had moved in between the 1st and the 3rd.
Immediately prior to that, where was your last home?
My last home would be at Space in that mobile home park.
What happened to that home?
I finished with it.
What do you mean you finished with it?
I lived in a mobile home. I finished it, moved on to the next one. Finished it, moved on to the next one.
So what you do is you go in and do work in the house?
Yeah, the houses are empty when I move in.
Who pays you to do the work?
My boss.
But you and the boss had a falling out?
Yes.
What was that about?
Money.
That he said you took from him or that he owed you?
Well, he owed me.
Did he ever give you the money?
No.
Then the first line of your complaint would be incorrect. Because the first line of your complaint says, I was sent to Patricia's home by my former employer to do some work.
That's how I met Patricia.
In April, you were sent by this boss that you had a fight with, who fired you, to her house?
I must have the dates mixed up. Sorry about that.
That's what it says.
When I met Patricia, I came over to fix either, it might have been the steps or the loose banister or whatever was her concern at the time. And I'd go over there, and that's what I did. I fixed it, and I left. Okay, and she had a few
Then you had a fight with your boss?
Yes.
So after you had done some initial work for her?
Yes, ma'am.
Time passed,
yes.
And then you went back. Is that correct? Did he do some initial work for you at some point prior to April of this year?
Yes.
What kind of work did he do?
He came and looked at my swamp cooler, but it never got fixed. He did fix a belt on it, but he didn't fix the motor and the pads. The back door he didn't finish fixing. He didn't finish fixing the plumbing under the sink in the bathroom. He duct taped it.
When was this? In what month?
I moved there February 14th of this year. So since February 14th till the end of April, when he came into my home, there was odds and ends of things that had to be fixed.
So he was in and out of your home. Why don't you tell me why you let him move in and sleep on the floor in your home?
Because at the time he was sleeping in a shed by a pillow, and so I said he can store his stuff. Wasn't using my storage, and I have a fenced-in yard, a small gate, and so I let him use that to keep his stuff in there or whatever. He did sleep in there, because when I wasn't home, I don't let anybody in my house, but I found later they were. But I would let him sleep on the floor in the living room, along with his daughter, and his son would come over and sleep there, and eat there and take showers.
Well, that sounds as if she was very nice to you.
She was very nice to me.
Then why would you think she would steal your tools, which is what you're alleging?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
If you got home, your father must have said to you, these aren't all my tools.
I had called him.
Called him on your what?
On my cell phone.
What kind of cell phone do you have? At that. And did you take a picture of the tools?
No.
You have anything else?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Edward Montawine says former friend Patricia Flores stole his work tools, causing him to lose work.
Okay, just asking you a question, sir. It sounds as if she was very nice to you.
Yes, she was.
Let you sleep in her house?
Mm-hmm.
Your daughter, son sleep in the house? And it doesn't look to me like this is a lady who uses tools herself. Why would you think she...
That, I have your tools, but I'm not going to... You can't have them back until it's clean.
Just a second. She said to you what and when?
She said, your tools are safe. There's nothing missing.
Your tools are safe. And when did she say that to you?
That would be about the 15th or 16th of last month, I believe. So
your tools are safe. There is nothing missing because you must have had a falling out. Do you remember that conversation?
We didn't have a falling out. He left the house and never came and told me he was leaving or anything. His daughter came and took the stuff, all his property off of there.
Which daughter?
I have not talked to him. He's not been around.
Which daughter?
Audrey, the one that's got her hand
That
raised.
one?
Yes.
So you never had a conversation with him?
No.
Saying to him, I have your tools,
No,
they're
he
safe?
sent Billy in the house.
Who's Billy?
His ex-boss.
Are you back working for him?
No. I have a legally blind daughter that I go over there and I'll fix her whatever she needs fixed periodically. Her next door neighbor needed a carburetor done, and I needed some specialty tools for it, so I sent my daughter Audrey over there to get them. And when she went over there, all my stuff was scattered out of her shed, scattered around her yard. All my possessions I had in there, except for my tools. And I had my daughter Audrey.
What tools are we talking about?
All my tools I've acquired over 15 years, Your Honor.
I'm asking you what specific tools.
Makita impact drill, Makita skill saw, all my tools.
They're in a big blue trash can. Audrey came over with a hand truck, a dolly, a white one, and put that on there and walked it up the street to the other park. She got everything out there.
Other than what his daughter took, do you know where any of his tools are?
They took. I have no, I don't. No.
So the answer is?
No.
You don't?
Nope.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Closed captioning sponsored by.
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, you can stand up. On what date did you go over to the shed?
The 29th.
Of what month?
It was May 29th. I went over there to get my dad's tools because he needed certain tools to work on the car.
And what did you go over there with?
I went over there with a dolly.
And did you put the tools in the dolly?
Whatever tools that were left there, which was tools that basically...
Did you take photographs of the tools that you took?
No.
If you got home, your father must have said to you, these aren't all my tools.
I had called him, and I told him, I said...
Called him on your what? With that. And did you take a picture of the tools?
No.
You have anything else? You have anything else?
No, ma'am.
Let me tell you something. I don't understand why somebody who was nothing but nice to you for no reason, nice to you, according to her, and nice to you.
She offered me her half of the bed, her bed, and I refused it.
Goodbye. I'm finished.
I said
with
you're
you.
watching
I'm finished.
TV.
I'm finished
Can
with
he
all of
give
you.
him his
We're
tools?
done. Give him whatever you have. Bird will give it to him. Officer Bird, will you transfer over to him everything that you have? Very good. We're done.
And this is it.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I refused her half of the bed.
He's homeless. He needs money from somewhere.
When I left for a couple of days because I was uncomfortable, she took all the tools I've accumulated over 15 years, got rid of them.
I gave him back his tools that he left at the house.
We're all flawed in some way or another.
I like the guy. No bad ill feelings against him or his family.
You had some sort of an altercation with his little brother.
Yes.
Violence in a Chicago neighborhood.
When a brother comes down, we get to arguing. He swung, missed, I swung, connected, we fight.
Mr. King was very angry that his brother ended up in the hospital.
And Big Brother cuts to the chase.
Him and his family had knives too, so...
You're not supposed to go to his house with a knife.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Jermaine Minter is suing 21-year-old Trayvon King for threatening him with a knife.
Order. All rise.
It's case number 141 on the calendar in the matter of Minter versus King.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Mr. King, is this your younger brother?
No, this is actually my friend.
Your younger brother isn't here.
No, ma'am, he's still on house arrest.
House arrest for what?
I think it was a gang laundering or something. I don't know the exact case.
How long has he been on house arrest?
For approximately like 2 to 3 months now.
Was he incarcerated for any period of time?
Yeah, for about like a week or two. That's about it.
How old is he?
He's 18.
Now, there came a time when you had some sort of an altercation with his little brother.
Yes.
Tell me about the altercation, if you want to.
So the particular problem with me and him actually had a fight came March 17th, 2016. I was on my way to get my driver's license. In order to get to, I stay 63rd, my auntie house. I was on my way to get the money because she's the one paying it for me. That's when the brother comes down, we get to arguing.
You mean his brother
yes.
came down?
I'm gonna call him Heavy because
what was the argument about?
Because the night before then, I entered their house without knocking, and it just got on some, you supposed to knock. Well, if I'm coming here for the person and they told me to come in, you need to take that up with the person that told me to come in, not me.
You went in there
and just opened the door.
And you opened the door. So the younger brother said...
You need to knock. But he didn't say it that night.
I got it. Did you get into a physical altercation
the
with
next
him?
morning? Not that night. That night it was just, okay, you a police. He called me a police. Okay, whatever you want to say. I left because I was at their house. I left, went home. The next morning, as I said, I was going to get my
driver's
license. Walking past my auntie house to get the money for it. The brother run off the porch. Something saying, so was all that stuff about yesterday. Come on, man, ain't nobody on that with you. That's just how we talk. He swung, missed, I swung, connected, we fighting. I leave to go get my driver's license, he leaves to go to the hospital.
So you won the fight?
I'm guessing.
Okay. And then it is your claim, I don't actually think that Mr. King disputes the fact that Mr. King was very angry that his brother ended up in the hospital, and at some point he came to your house.
Yes.
When did you go to his house?
What? If I can show you this, it basically stayed from the day that they got into it until now.
Something that you wrote out?
No, this is actually text message of him texting me.
Fine. I want to know when you went to his house.
March 19th to be exact.
What time?
I get off work at 2, so it had to be about 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock.
In the afternoon?
Yes, ma'am.
And who did you go over there with?
My friend.
How many others other than that one friend? How many others?
No, it was just us. Now, my father was there, but he
Just a second. So you, your friend, and your father?
Yes, but my father, you know what I'm saying, he had a bad crash, so he was basically just telling me to come over there and find out what's happening.
Just a second.
Okay.
All I asked you was, how many people went to his house? So it was you, your friend, and your father.
Okay, yeah, that went to his house is just me and my friend.
Where was your father?
My father was, at the porch, you know what I'm saying, basically telling us, to just leave it alone.
Why didn't you listen to him?
Because I didn't go down there to fight. I went down there to talk to him as a man.
When you went down there to talk to him, did you have a knife? When you went down there to talk to him, did you have a knife?
Not the first time.
So you went down to talk to him twice?
Yes, the first time I went to talk to him as a man, but I was, being aggressive,
The second time, was that also on March 19th?
Yes.
Then you did have a knife. And who went back with you the second time?
I went back down by myself.
You were there by yourself? With a knife. So you left your friend and you substituted a knife for your friend. Now tell me what happened when you got there the second time with the knife.
Okay, well, during the first time before I left, I was, people, they was reaching and stuff like that. And then, him and his family had knives, too. So I went about it the wrong way, but I did go back down there because I wanted to get to the bottom of it, why this continuing problem with my baby brother at that.
Why was your baby brother in jail?
Whatever he does in the streets. Like I said, I don't know exactly.
Had nothing to do with him.
Right.
So, wouldn't that say something to you?
Ain't got nothing to do with him biting my brother in the eye.
What?
It don't have nothing to do with whatever my brother does in the street. It doesn't have nothing to do with him biting my brother in the eye.
Unless your brother started a fight with him.
Okay, my brother didn't start a fight with him.
How do you know that? You weren't there.
But I got uncles that tell me that what happened, too. My papa out there, too. He's 74 years old. You know what I'm saying?
So he's young?
No. The whole thing is, Your Honor...
Did he just say no? Listen, you had no reason to go to his house with a knife.
He had no reason to open my parents' door without their permission.
Mr. King, there may be things that you don't understand. Because somebody walks into somebody who is basically, your friends, you have a lot of people living in your house. He didn't go there to burglarize your house. He went there to see somebody in your house. And because you cop an attitude, because he didn't knock appropriately, doesn't mean that you go to his house. Your brother did. Doesn't mean that you go to his house with a knife.
I didn't go to his house because of the knife, because of that.
What did you go to his house with a knife for?
The reason I went to his house with a knife is because When I went down there to talk to him as a man, you know what I'm saying, he got defensive with me after these text messages, which is before I even came down there. The whole point of me coming down there was because he bit my brother almost half his eye off. I went down there to talk to him about it, like, what's going on? Because like he said, he had an altercation with my baby brother again, you know what I'm saying? Then it went to my baby brother to my little brother, you know what I'm saying? So I wanted to know what was going on. When I went down there, you know, he was telling me what he was going to do to me, like he was doing in the text, you know what I'm saying?
Now I'm going to take a look at the texts.
I got the top part for the beginning of it on my phone. And that was leading up to the...
It's not in my mental wheelhouse, these emails. You're not supposed to go to his house with a knife.
He wasn't supposed to chase me down with a knife.
Listen to me. Don't answer that. That's a statement. It's not a question. It doesn't require an answer. You're not supposed to go to his house with a knife. You want to go to a mediation? Get a mediation. Going to his house with a knife after nasty texts back and forth is not a civilized resolution to a problem. Now, he came to your house with a knife, but he didn't assault you. Is that correct?
Physically, no.
Okay. Now, the other part of your complaint is that he should be punished punitively because your daughter was present.
Yes.
How old is your daughter?
My daughter, 8. That's the first person they approached. They didn't approach me. They approached my daughter coming out of school. 6 guys coming up to my daughter. She's running down crying to my baby's mother. I'm in the house asleep. They actually come waking me up. She's dramatic. My baby just, ugh. They say they finna jump you, Daddy. Who is they? Let me go out here and see. Open the door. Who do I see? Trayvon, the young gentleman right there. His father. His father got somebody. 3 more people. It's 7 people.
Okay. How far away from
I stayed.
I'm sorry. From where you were is your daughter's school?
Directly right across the street. But I'm more on the corner of 63rd.
How old is she?
She'd be 9 July 31st.
Stand up. Tell me your last name.
Davis.
Mr. Davis, were you there on this date in March with Mr. King?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, when for the first time did you see Mr. Minter's daughter?
The first time I saw her...
That day?
She was inside his stepmom's house.
Inside? You didn't see her outside?
I never knew that was his daughter. No, I did not.
And who else was there the first time that you went to the house?
His 2 little brothers, a female, his cousin, and his daddy.
And did you go back the second time?
No, I ain't go back the second time. I ain't walked back down the street the second time.
But at no time did you go to the school?
No, we never went to the school.
Did you ever go to the school?
No, ma'am.
All very, very upsetting. But not a lawsuit, actually. Not a lawsuit. What?
Can I say something? And the reason why his daughter was at my house, because I have 2 little cousins that she plays with, so that's the reason why she was there, you know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't harm no little lady.
Listen, I assume you were not arrested for assaulting his little brother. Is that correct?
No.
Did your little brother press charges against him?
No.
Is there a reason for that?
Because his little brother was wrong. I mean, his little brother still talk right now.
You do?
It's Trayvon is to walk past their house, and that's when they approached them. And when I tell you 7 people, the 7 people that it was included don't even include his 2 little brothers that was there.
Mr. King, listen to me. Do you have children?
Yes.
How many children do you have?
I got a little girl and I got a boy, a baby boy on the way.
I want to...
Shh. Listen to me.
Okay.
I assume you want better for your children than what you have.
Yeah.
Is that right? I assume that that's what you all want for your children, something better than what you have. Then you have to start behaving in a more appropriate way. Do you understand?
Yes.
It's uncivilized to go to someone else's home with the intention of fighting them.
I wasn't intending to fight them.
Or scaring them with a knife. Uncivilized. To leave an area where you went to talk, and then you had a whole bunch of nasty texts back and forth, and then go home and arm yourself with a knife and go back. There are only 2 reasons for that, because...
I didn't go home and arm myself. The March 17th, all that was the same day. The same morning that he bit my little brother in the eye, all them text messages was from that day.
You told me it was on the 19th. Listen to me. You told me the 19th.
Right, the 17th, that's when he texted all that. I was going to go over there that same day, but he was telling me how he got his...
I don't care.
Well, you know what I'm saying?
But just a second. You are in the wrong. You told me a story that you were so angry because he almost bit your little brother's eye off that you wanted to talk to him and figure out what's all this about.
You ain't hit me out before I told you.
You had these messages back and forth.
I told you I went over there to talk, but you ain't hit me out for what happened. You know what I'm saying? I went over there to talk. Him and his baby mama, they got offensive, and they got to pulling out butcher knives. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, then a smart person would not go back with a knife.
Are you right?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
he filed a restraining order against my daughter and would not let her come on the property, and they forged the lease. You can see where the lease has been whited out with their names.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Jermaine Minter says Trayvon King showed up at his home and threatened him with a knife.
Yeah, a smart person would not go back with a knife. If they copped an attitude because you were over there and you were trying to figure out what had happened with your brother so that he almost lost an eye and was very calm, but they had butcher knives on themselves with a butcher knife and then go back. Smart person wouldn't do that. Who has a child and one on the way wouldn't do that. I'm done with this case. It's no lawsuit here. Goodbye.
Oh, you gotta excuse me. Step out.
You shouldn't be 33 years old trying to fight an 18-year-old, you know what I'm saying?
If an 18-year-old hits you, you gonna let him keep hitting you, or you gonna fight back?
And no matter what, you shouldn't walk in nobody's crib if you mess with that person or not. Always knocking somebody's door, that's it.
The perfect solution would have been me getting paid for my screen door, then I would have let it die. But
it's about respect, right? Because I wouldn't, me knowing my little brothers won't walk in his crib and just open the door.
Now I don't know what I'm gonna do now. Y'all might be seeing me back in court or somewhere or in jail or something.
You know what I'm saying? It's all about respect, that's it.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Chapman versus Reset Covarrubias. Step forward.
Diane Chapman and her daughters, Sarah and Brandy, are suing their former landlord, David Reset, and his wife, Eleanor Covarrubias, for meter fraud, a false restraining order, and harassment.
I'm going to make this case very simple, although you folks have tried to make it far more complicated. You rented a property from the defendant.
Yes.
And you rented that property for how long?
The lease was 1 year.
And did you stay for the full year?
Yes, I did.
All right, and now that the year is up, you're complaining electricity bill that you were paying covered more than just your property. It covered property that was used in part by the defendant as a workshop and another rental property.
There was a trailer there.
A trailer. So there's only 1 meter, and you were getting the bill for that meter.
Yes, I was.
Now, the defendant doesn't seem to deny the fact that there was only 1 meter. What he says is that that was explained to you and the rent was reduced by $50 in consideration of that use by him in his shed and by the other people in the trailer of any electricity. Is that your defense, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, do you have a written lease?
Yes, we do.
Well, I'd like to take a look at it because that'll make it very, very simple, because that piece would have to be in the written lease, that $50 is being deducted because the 1 meter covers more than just the plaintiff's property.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
There was a door in the washroom that belonged to a customer of mine.
A door?
Yes.
How do you know that they took that door?
After they have left, I was checking my cameras, and on the camera was a photo of the daughter's boyfriend carrying a door.
Judge Judy. Diane Chapman says her former landlord, David Reset, owes for meter fraud, a false restraining order, and harassment. David is countersuing for property damage, stolen property, and harassment.
Now, do you want to point it out to me where you wrote in the lease that you were discounting the lease? I don't see it anywhere here.
This was after the lease, after she signed the lease. There was another agreement.
Oh, then I'll take a look at that if it was written.
You're kidding me.
There's never another agreement after.
No, it was a verbal agreement.
You can't tell me what it was, sir. And it can't be a verbal agreement modifying the terms of the lease.
I believe it's in the other paperwork that I did not bring with me, Your Honor.
Okay, fine. Now, if what you say is that you were giving them a credit of $50 a month on the electricity and they were there for 1 year, that means you owe them $600 for electricity. Now, I'm not entertaining anything else about your alleged harassment by him of dumping cat's food over or your dog's food over. It's nonsense. If you don't like a place, you move out. You're entitled to $600, and $600 is for the electricity. Unless you can prove to me, and I don't see how you can, that the amount owed for electricity is more than $600. Do you have any proof that the electricity is...
I have a bill because he filed a restraining order against my daughter and would not let her come on the property from the very beginning day, and they forged the lease and took my daughter's name off the lease after we signed it. You can see where the lease has been whited out with their names.
Listen to me. Then don't stay. You don't wait until after you move out and have all kinds of complaints about harassment or anything else. Now, what I want to know from you is, your main complaint in your answer was not about the plaintiff, but about her daughter and her daughter's conduct and the boyfriend's conduct around the house. That was your main complaint.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not entertaining your counterclaim with regard to harassment either. They're gone from the property. But what I do want to know is, what property do you allege that they took from the house that didn't belong to them?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, what property do you allege that they took from the house that didn't belong to them?
Well, Your Honor, there was a door in the washroom that belonged to a customer of mine.
A door?
Yes.
What kind of...
A pre-hung door, for an interior door.
And it belonged to somebody else?
Yes, ma'am. On the property for jobs that I'm getting ready to do.
Oh, so there was a door that was not hanging up. It was just there.
Correct.
And how do you know that they took that door?
After they have left and gone, I was checking my cameras. That would be October 4th, 2014. I was checking my cameras, and on the camera was a photo of the daughter's boyfriend carrying a door.
And you saw this in October of 2014?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not interested in it. We're now in 2016. The reason she says she didn't file anything with regard to the meter was because she said she had to wait in order to get something from the local government before she could file with regard to the meter. That's an excuse for not filing in 2 years. So, judgment for the plaintiff for the amount of $600. Are we finished? Good. Thank you.
Parties are excused and they step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He was a bully, and he's getting by with it.
It was a good tentative beginning.
He called the police on us. He would not let my daughter come on the property.
Then the daughter started bringing her boyfriend and her friends over, and these people I know.
What does my boyfriend have to do with our lease?
For a fact, are drug addicts.
It's not true.
I'm not renting again.
I guess it was just a wrong fit.
I'll burn the place down before I rent it again.
A horse and carriage ride after this bride's fairy tale wedding.
So you were surprised when you came out of the ceremony?
Yes. I did tell the kids they had a 1-hour carriage ride. Put your feet up and relax.
But the magic ended too quickly.
You only kept them out for 35 minutes.
We also figured into that we would be doing photos.
The driver asked if anybody had a cell phone to take pictures with.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Mary Paul is suing John and Mary Block for the cost of a carriage ride as part of her daughter's wedding.
Order. All rise. Yeah, this is case number 202 on the calendar, the matter Paul versus Block.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Ms. Block, you hired the defendants who have a horse and carriage for your daughter's wedding.
Correct.
And the arrangement was you were going to pay them a certain amount of money to ride your daughter and her fiancé around and take photographs before they reached a place where either the wedding or the reception was.
August 13th, 2016.
It is your claim that they didn't perform that service satisfactorily and you didn't get your money's worth. You want your money back, plus, whatever. Anyway, how much did you pay them?
$650 for 1 hour.
And the hour was supposed to start when?
At 4:30 and end at 5:30.
Where were they supposed to pick your daughter up from?
After the ceremony, we had the ceremony at Pioneer Park, and they were supposed to deliver them to the reception hall approximately 3 blocks away, but the ride was going to go further.
You're the bride?
Yes.
Could you stand up, please? Tell me your last name.
Paul. Paul is my maiden name. Married name is Johnson.
Okay. Ms. Johnson, you had the ceremony.
Yes.
When did the ceremony start?
The ceremony started at 3:30 p.m. on August 13th.
And when was it over?
It was over roughly about 4 o'clock to 4:15.
What time did the carriage arrive?
The carriage arrived around 4:30.
As contracted for?
Yes.
And what time did you depart the carriage?
We departed from Pioneer Park at 4:36 p.m.
And what time did you get to the reception?
We got to the reception hall at 5 after 5.
Did you have a conversation with the defendants about where the ride should be taking you?
No, my mom and dad surprised me with it.
So you were surprised when you came out of these?
It was very beautiful.
Did you take any pictures?
Yes, we have some pictures.
I'd like to see them.
Here's arrival at Dolo Park, and I have some professional pictures as they left Pioneer Park if you want those.
I'd like to take a look at those too.
Here's 3. And yeah.
Did you have a written contract with the defendants?
Yes, I did.
I'd like to take a look at it.
Here's this, and I put a note at the top because we weren't sure of the ceremony time.
No, you don't put any note on the top.
Okay.
If you had a contract, that's what the contract is. Who prepared this contract?
I did, Your Honor.
So I'm not looking at any of this. Okay. You have to understand that because this is the contract terms say any change in the contract has to be in writing and signed by both parties. You added this when?
Prior to signing it.
Oh, okay. Is that correct? Prior to signing it, she says paid by check, and this may change to 4:30 to 5:30. Need to finalize the ceremony time. I assume that was before this was signed because you did, in fact, says from 5 to 6.
We try to be accommodating.
No, that's not what I said.
I'm sorry?
What I said was the plaintiff says that she added this, that the contract time could change before she signed it. And that would seem to be correct because you wrote from 5 to 6, and actually you picked them up at 4:30.
Right.
Okay. So what you're saying is they only provided half of the service.
Correct.
And when you were dropped off, you didn't know what the circumstances were of the hour that your mother had contracted.
No, because it was a surprise.
Okay, so they arrived at 4:30, they dropped you off at 5:05.
Yes.
Ball is in your court. Who was the driver? And? Go ahead.
We did indeed pick them up at the park.
Pick them up on time. That's not the issue.
And there were photographs taken there. And I made note of the photographers, and they went around the carriages and took professional photos. And then we traveled that route as opposed to a straight direct route because there's a pretty big hill, so we didn't want the horse to slip. Plus, it would give them a longer ride.
No, they contracted for an hour, but you only kept them out for 35 minutes.
In that hour, we also figured into that the up at the bridge and the gazebo so that we would be well within our time and probably over because sometimes the photographers...
But what I'm saying is they paid for an hour. They didn't get an hour's worth of ride.
We got to be in sometime after 5. They have a picture that documents it as 5:07. Mm-hmm. They took some other photos, and then the bride and the groom... Well, we expected, I left the gazebo because I found no photographers there at all. So we left the gazebo and went up the hill, and I thought, well, maybe the photographers are up there because we've done lots of weddings, and I've been told, well, the photographer's going to be here, the photographer's going to be there, and they haven't been. So as I was looking for the photographers and didn't see them, I couldn't stop and wait because it's very busy down there on that walkway, and I didn't want to hold up any traffic. There's children, there's dogs, and I wanted to keep the horse moving. So then I'm
just asking you this question. You're getting... When you dropped off the bride and groom in front of the reception area, and where was that?
The Lowell Inn in Stillwater, Minnesota.
At the inn, did you say to them, you can have this carriage ride for...
That the photographers would come out, and then I figured the time would be used up with the photographers taking pictures there. Someone jumped out of the carriage. They were going to go in and check and find the photographers and bring them back out so that we could have... It's a beautiful inn, and it would make for great photos. So we stopped, and he hopped out. He was going to go get somebody.
Oh, the groom?
It wasn't the groom. It wasn't the groom.
Who went in to look for the photographer?
Nobody did, Your Honor. The only thing that happened was when we pulled up to the Lowell Inn, the reception hall, nobody was there. And the driver asked if anybody had a cell phone to take pictures with. And I asked my husband to pull out his cell phone and gave it to the best man, who was his brother. The best man got out and took pictures of the pictures we gave you.
Were you expecting a photographer to be there?
I did not know any of this because it was a surprise.
Well, were you there?
I was not there, but I sent the photographers to the bridge, and I had told them the day before the photographers would be on the bridge, and they were on the bridge at 5.
Your problem, Miss Paul, is that I don't think that these people cheated you. I don't think that, A, the communication that you made to your daughter was nil because it was a surprise.
Correct.
And you weren't there to... It does not require pictures on the bridge, by the way, your contract. All it says is that they are to provide carriage services for 1 hour. And they could have sat in front of the inn. Did you go into the inn at some point?
Yes.
At what time did you go into the inn?
10 after 5, we went in.
Okay, so then you left the carriage outside.
Yes.
So at 10 after 5, you went into the inn with now your husband.
Yes.
Well, what did you want them to do?
Well, the ride, okay, so I had all of our guests up at Pioneer Park, and we started walking down to the inn, because, again, it was just approximately 3 blocks away. I actually myself walked down to the inn. Her father, he drove down. None of us saw the carriage at all. It was gone. Well, it wasn't there. But they were supposed to get an hour ride and be delivered at 5:30. We had guests arriving at 5:10 to 5:30.
It wasn't communicated to your daughter. She went inside. She left the carriage. She left. Her father could have said, listen, we have the carriage until 5:30. Let's wait until 5:30. Take some pictures. We'll find the photographer. Somebody should have been there to coordinate it.
When the carriage left, I did tell the kids they had a 1-hour carriage ride. Put your feet up and relax.
Well, that's just a second. Great. But they left the carriage.
Well, they weren't watching the clock.
Nice pictures. Are you happily married?
Yes, I am.
Good for you. Case is dismissed. We're done.
Markets are excused. You may step out.
I went over everything with the carriage people the day before.
Yeah, back and forth about just, I didn't get what I wanted.
I told them the timeline. I told them where the photographers were.
And she kept going back to the photographers, and I'm like, I don't control the photographers.
And they just made the ride last 35 minutes and totally wrecked the whole timeline.
And she didn't want to tell her daughter. She certainly could have told somebody else that was in the carriage.
I was shocked. I really was. It wrecked the evening for me.
That wouldn't have let it go that it was a surprise.
It really did. And I did not tell her anything until the next day because I didn't want her wedding destroyed.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Logan versus Daniels. Step forward.
Cheryl Logan is suing her former landlord, Robin Daniels, for moving costs, a false restraining order, and harassment.
Miss Logan, Miss Daniels was your landlady?
Yes, she was, ma'am.
You moved?
Yes, I did, ma'am.
And now you're suing her for several things. The costs of your moving, because you say she was a terrible landlord.
Yes.
She filed a false restraining order against you.
That's true, Your Honor.
So she said you were a miserable tenant, although at first blush looked okay. She said she filed a restraining order because you threatened her on Facebook.
Yes.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
She went and she found what appears to be a fabulous house that she seems to love at half the rent. So everybody should be happy. Now, I want you to tell me why and when you filed the restraining order.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Cheryl Logan is suing her former landlord, Robin Daniels, for moving costs, a false restraining order, and harassment.
Now, when did you move in?
I moved in January of 14.
When did you move out?
February 29th of 2016 this year.
So you lived there for 2 years?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
What was the rent?
The rent was $697 a month.
Did you pay the rent, or was it Section 8 housing?
Section 8 housing.
So they paid the rent?
They paid the portion of theirs. And
what was your portion?
My portion was $697.
And there's no indication here that that rent wasn't paid. So that was paid during the term of the lease?
She paid it. Some days, some months she was late. But she paid it, yes.
Okay. Now, you moved out in February of 2016. Where did you move to?
I moved to Palmdale, California.
Where was the prior residence?
Palmdale, California.
So you moved within the same town?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me about the place that you moved into.
I moved into a 5-bedroom, 3-bath house. Front yard, backyard. It's real nice.
And when did you move into that house?
February the 29th.
Just the same date as you moved out?
Yes.
And what's the rent there?
My rent there now is $385.
So let me understand this. What you did is you moved out and you moved into this new 5-bedroom, 3-bath home that's gorgeous, and you're paying half the rent.
Yes, ma'am.
And there was no dislocation between moving out of the prior residence and moving into this residence. Now, what moving costs would you like her to pay?
Well, actually, I didn't have any money to move. It was at the end of, like, the first of the year, I didn't have any money to...
So what are you suing her for?
My moving costs of my money, for me to move into a different house.
Forget it. What's next? Forget it. What's next?
What's next?
Yeah.
Well, she filed a fake restraining order on me.
That I'll hear.
Okay.
Okay. Now, when did you file a restraining order against her?
I filed in February, the same month she was about to move out. February is 15, 16, somewhere up in there.
And she had given you notice that she was moving?
No, I gave her a 60-day notice for her to move out. Took it to Section 8, and they signed the papers, and she had to move February the 20-something. I got tired of her harassment on...
Whatever. You gave her a notice to leave, and it was fine. She went and she found what appears to be a fabulous house that she seems to love at half the rent. So why you filed the restraining order. You filed it in February. Now you're going to tell me why.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Read to me what you say is a threat. It's nasty. There's no question it's nasty. That's what people do on the internet. They have nothing else to do. They should all have very busy jobs and lives. But I want you to read to me what you say is a threat.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Cheryl Logan has accused former landlord Robin Daniels of owing for moving costs, a restraining order, and harassment.
Now, I want you to tell me why you filed the restraining order.
I filed it because she kept calling people saying I'm doing this and doing that, which it was about a leak.
I don't know. I don't understand what that means.
She called building safety, Palmdale Building Safety, about a leak in the ceiling. I went out.
So just a second. So she would call authorities, housing-type authorities,
yes,
to complain about your residence?
Yes. And my house also is a 5-bedroom, 3-bath, too.
Nice. She likes this one better, and it's less money.
No, otherwise it's less money because she had more people in her house when she was at my residence. So if you have
How many people were at the house?
She had her daughter and her granddaughter living there at the time. And
So
the
there was
rest of her
another
kids.
family?
Yes. So when you have less people and less income, your income go down.
Okay. I'd like to see the paper that you filed for a protective order, and I'd like to see the threat that she made to you that you say caused you to file the restraining order, because calling building safety codes is not a reason to file a protective order. So I want to see what you filed.
Well, that ain't the only one she called. She called...
I don't care who she called. This is a free country. She can call whoever she wants to call. I want to see the threat that you say she made on Facebook, and I want to see what you filed. What are you showing me? I want you to read to me what you say is a threat. Read to me what you say is a threat. It's nasty. There's no question it's nasty. That's what people do on the internet. They have nothing else to do. They should all have very busy jobs and lives, and then they wouldn't have so much time to spend so much nasty time on the internet. But I want you to read to me what you say is a threat.
I mean, she's saying she go hit me where it really hurt more than me. I mean, I don't know. And then she's saying that, oh, I'm going to get your license where you can't rent to no one. You're going to lose everything. So I'm not knowing what it is, and I took it as a threat to me. I mean, harassment. I mean, she got my kid's name all on the internet. I mean...
Where did she threaten to beat the hell out of you? I want to see that.
Well, it says...
Just a sec. Just say, where does it say? Read it to me.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, where did she threaten to beat the hell out of you? Read it to me.
I'm going to hit her where it's going to hurt her.
You could say that that was hitting you physically, because if you go on, she's really talking about taking away your livelihood in your pocketbook. But I suppose you could. I want you to say, this is a quote that you wrote in your papers for a protective order. Beat the hell out of me. Did she ever say that?
Oh, I know. Let me see what this one is.
No, I don't see that either.
I never said that, Your Honor.
I don't know, is it in a text or on a picture, but I don't have it.
I never said it.
Okay.
Never.
And tell me what happened with the protective order.
It was dismissed, Your Honor. It was
Yeah.
dismissed. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
It was more she stay away from book.
I'd like to see it.
She can't put nothing on Facebook
I'd like to
about
see it.
anything.
So you both went to see a judge?
We went to saw
a mediator.
we went to saw the judge. The judge went.
Or does it go to
You went to a mediation?
Yes, ma'am.
Shh. Oh, fine. That's good. That makes my job so much easier. Oh, this is great. So that each of you agreed to stay away from the other, not to contact each other's families on social media, Facebook.
Right.
This case went through mediation.
Right, it did.
Went through mediation?
Yes.
Very good. Your case is dismissed. You have no case. We're done. Thank you.
Step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy,
She's just a conniving, miserable woman.
Because I got tired of her with all this nonsense.
I mean, I left your house, you lied and restrained, or you tried to decharacterize me as being a game maker, which I'm not.
Calling different people over a piece of mail. This all started over a piece of mail.
Because the mediator saw it was all kind of loopholes in there. You didn't have a story, you didn't have no evidence. It's done.
All I told her, just give me my mail, because I had just moved out the house, and she had a problem with that.
Well, yeah, we were doing fine up until everything in the house started getting broke.
The leak in the ceiling, and I came out to have someone to fix it.
I complained about her getting fixed. She didn't want to get it fixed. She didn't want to spend no money.
My home warranty, nothing they can do.
Then I had to call the officials on her. That's it. I mean, I'm paying too much rent.
She called Palmdale City.
Yeah, she called officials on me. She called DCFS on me. She called the police on me.
She just called everybody just to get my license taken because she's jealous.
My life was a living hell. I'm glad I'm out of there. I don't have to deal with her no more, never in life. Thank God.
Yes, I am. Ooh, I don't got to deal with her no more.
I've been running a golf tournament 35 years.
I would assume that you love the game of golf.
Yes. A retiree hit the links for a good cause.
You won $400 because you and your friends came in first place.
That is correct.
Now,
It's really all about the charity, isn't it?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
he's teeing off on the organizers.
You want more money.
Yes, Your Honor.
You do understand that I'm not sympathetic with you.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
John Januszkiewicz is suing Cheryl Lindsay for unpaid prize money from a golf tournament.
Order. All rise. Versus Lindsay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Mr. Januszkiewicz, what do you do for a living, sir?
I'm a retired postal worker.
And I would assume that you love the game of golf.
Yes.
You have a dispute with Miss Lindsay, who has a restaurant or a bar.
Restaurant, full service restaurant.
And annually, Miss Lindsay runs a contest at her restaurant.
Yes.
Which is one of your favorite restaurants, and it's a golf contest. I assume it's designed to benefit a charity?
Yes, it is.
Which charity?
For a young woman or man going to college to major in special needs, it's a $5,000 scholarship for them to help them with their education.
And how long have you been having this golf contest?
I've been running a golf tournament 35 years.
How are the funds raised? Do people pay an entrance fee
Yes,
to play?
yes. I have the golf registration.
I'd like to
Would
see
you
it.
see that? Oh, sorry.
So you pay $100 to register for this tournament.
For myself, I also paid for 4 other players.
What is the prize at the end of the tournament for the winning? Is it a foursome?
We had a 5-some, Your Honor.
At a fivesome. Okay. What's the prize?
$100.
Now, does it say anywhere what the prize will be? Is it advertised where the prize will be?
No.
So you don't know when you register whether the prize will be $400 or $300 or $600. You have no idea what it is.
No.
Do you make that prize according to how many people come?
Yes, it is. Okay. My witness can actually, I don't golf, and I don't really understand a lot of the golf lingo, but my witness, John, can attest to how that's broken down.
What I want to know is, usually if you enter a golf tournament, there is a prize at the end of that tournament, even if you are raising money for a charity.
Right.
How are people advised what the prize will be?
Again, I don't want to say something I don't really understand. Can John explain that
Do you
to
understand?
I do, Your Honor.
But could you stand up and tell me? Tell me your last name, sir.
McLaughlin, John McLaughlin.
Do you work at the restaurant?
No, Your Honor.
You're a golfer.
I'm a golfer and I volunteer at the restaurant for this particular golf tournament.
That's for charity.
For charity.
Now, is this a fund where you put the money because the checks are made payable to Lindsay's Restaurant?
Yes, I have a nonprofit. I have an ID number if you'd like to see that.
I'd like to see it.
Okay. And also there's a breakdown of the costs for the tournament, what we took in, and where the money goes to.
Okay, fine. Okay, so you don't donate the meal at the restaurant. You charge, paid out, $2,430 for dinner at the restaurant. There's 130 lunch coolers with logo.
Right.
And then there's food, prime rib seafood medley, $24.30. So I'm just asking, you don't donate the food? Because I see there is labor here, and the labor, waiters, waitresses, they may not donate the time. I'm just asking you. That's the answer to the question is you don't donate the food.
You're right. You're right, Your Honor.
Okay, so you took in about $12,500, and you paid out, including the scholarship, which was $5,000, you paid out $13,000. But that took into account your $24.30 for food.
Yes.
So you made your $5,000 for the charity.
Yes.
Which you did, in fact, donate.
Yes.
Fine. And you won $400 because you and your friends came in first place.
That is correct.
But you had no prior knowledge that that was going to be the prize because there's nothing written anywhere on the flyer. Okay, now, you want more money.
Yes, Your Honor.
Explain it to me.
On June 6th, we played in the tournament.
You won, first place. Why do you want?
John.
By you.
Correct.
Okay. So, in addition to the other prizes here, there's a skins pool.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay, let's see if that's here. 50-50 raffle, closest to the hole, longest drive, food. There's nothing here about skin pool.
I believe it's on there.
Well, only because it says first prize winner, and somebody wrote in winner 300, skins 100, which is $400. Okay. Explain to me what you put on, John, with regard to the skins game.
Okay, Your Honor. What happens is the day of the tournament, we try to collect $20 per group. That goes into a separate kitty for the skins pool. On June 6th, we collected money for 15 groups. That brings us to 300. So that goes into a separate envelope for skins. Then we match the 300 for the winner. No one knows what the winner's going to get because we don't know what we're going to collect for that day. The 300 that we bring in has nothing to do with the 300 we pay out. The 300 is separate for skins. Now, the way, I'm not sure if you know how skins work, but the way the skins work is that, like, for instance, on a par 3, if the team gets a par 2, they get 1 point. However, if another team matches that, it's blocked out. 2-tie, all-tie. We go through all the cards, right through all 18. What happened on June 6th was that the plaintiff's team won 1 skin, another team won 1 skin, and another team won 1. One got 100. The other 2 teams donated the money back to the scholarship. The plaintiff got 300 for winning and 100 for the skin pool.
Did you win last year?
Yes, Your Honor, we did win last year.
And how much did you win?
$400.
So your question is, why didn't I win $400 again, plus the $100?
I believe there was more money in the skin pool.
Can you prove that to me?
I approached John at the restaurant.
No. Can you prove that to me?
No, I cannot.
Okay, so the answer is no.
Right.
That's what he said was there. I mean, actually, it's really all about the charity, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
That's why you're playing.
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
And at best, what you're claiming is $100 because If last year the first prize was $400 and you won, but that's not written anywhere, and this year you got $400, but you also got $100 for skins, which you had to share with 3 other people, and you don't have any proof that that's not true, the difference that we're talking about is $100. So I don't actually understand why you're here.
I'm here because after the event, first place envelope, $400, nothing was mentioned at the skin pool at the restaurant, period. Nothing. He told us that we won the whole skin pool. No other teams won the skin pool.
What other teams won the skin pool?
The Gender and John, that the cards were laid out in the dining room, and we can go over them if you want. And he decided to leave because I had one guy check them, and I rechecked them to make sure they were accurate before we announced who the winners were. And that's what it came down to.
And you volunteer your time for
Yes.
this event?
Yes.
Is that what kind of work do you do?
I'm a real estate developer. I have a law degree. I do zoning and land use.
You do understand that I'm not sympathetic with you.
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Everybody comes to the event with the purpose of playing a game of golf for a good cause and having a great day.
Yes.
And all it cost you to treat your friends was $100.
And later today,
The objective data is your 54-year-old son, who you were leaving in a responsible position to take care of your 4 dogs and 1 cat, saw this man come in. He contained the dogs, but he didn't think to contain the cat.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
John Yanuskiewicz has accused Cheryl Lindsay of failing to pay prize money from a charity golf tournament.
Okay. You do understand that you have no proof that, first of all, the only evidence that you had was last year you won first place and you got $400. Well, I don't know how many people participated last year. This year, there were 81 players at $100 each. And then there was money for sponsors, $1,900. What I assume is everybody comes to the event with the purpose of playing a game of golf for a good cause and having a great day.
Yes.
And all it cost you to treat your friends was $100, because if you put the envelope in your pocket and you had already paid for your friends, then all this great day cost you was $100. Did you have dinner?
Yes, we did.
Did you pay extra for dinner?
No.
All 5 friends had dinner?
4 friends.
4 friends. And you had prime rib and seafood, right?
Yeah.
Did you pay an additional green fee?
No.
So your $100 bought you a dinner and green fees.
That's correct.
And lunch coolers. Did you get a lunch cooler?
I don't remember that.
With a logo? What is that?
It's a lunch cooler, and we put water in it and some snacks when they're out golfing.
So the 4 players that you brought along all got one of those? Yes. Right?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. Your case is dismissed. We're done. Thank you.
I sent to the restaurant. I got no response.
He sent it, but it had been discussed with him, so I didn't respond.
I've been thrown out of the restaurant.
I just don't want that kind of person around in my restaurant.
Don't get in the skin pool.
He absolutely missed the spirit of what the charity event's for.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Nguyen versus Russell. Step forward.
Flooring contractor Nan Nguyen is suing his former client, Terry Russell, for unpaid labor and materials.
You did some work for the defendant, staining her floors.
Yes, I did.
And she didn't pay you when you were finished with the job.
Correct, yes.
That's what you're suing her for, your
Yes.
compensation. And the balance of what she owes you is, how much was the whole job?
The whole job was $9,080.
And how many rooms did you do? How many floors?
We did an existing floor, 450 square feet of the existing floor for her, and I put in a new kitchen floor for her.
And how much did she pay you? Did she give you a deposit?
She didn't give me any deposit or anything.
You bought the materials first? Had you ever done work for her before?
I recently did the same house for her about a year ago.
And she came back to you?
She came back to me because we did a good job and she
Okay, so
requested-
that's why you didn't take a deposit from her for this
Yes.
house.
Myself and my 4 dogs and a cat.
You have a son?
Yes, I do.
How old is he?
He is 54.
Where does he live?
He lives in South Sacramento.
And where do you live?
I live in Rockland, California.
How far away is that?
They're about 35 miles.
You were away when Mr. Nguyen came back to complete the floors. Is that correct?
Yes.
Mr. Nguyen doesn't have a key to your house.
Yes, he did have a key to the house.
He had a key. Did you use the key to get into the house, Mr. Nguyen?
Yes, I did.
On what date?
Around August 15th, I believe.
Okay, and that was the arrangement, that you were going to come in and finish the floors? Was that the arrangement that you made with Miss Russell?
Yes, we had a talk of a roughly date that she was going to be out of town for me to come by and complete the floor.
So she was going to be away from what days to what days? Do you recall?
I'm not sure exactly the date.
Well, I want you to get to know exactly the date. That's why you're here. It's your business. This is a
Right.
business that you have. Because bottom line, she says that you did do the floors, but you didn't contain the cat. Her cat. Her cat was out. Her cat got out and damaged all the floors that you did by leaving paw prints all over, which meant that once it dried, the floors would have to be stripped down again and redone. So that's why we're here. Because of your negligence, the cat got out and ruined her couch.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You put the cat in the laundry room with the cat litter, water, food, period. Is this the first time your son took care of your animals?
Yes, it is.
You must have had tremendous confidence in him if you left him for 3 weeks. So he
Well-
didn't use his noodle. Not him. Your son didn't use his brains.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Flooring contractor Nen Ewan says former client Terry Russell owes for work he completed on her home. Terry is countersuing for a damaged couch and poor workmanship.
Okay, the dates are important, Mr. Nguyen.
Yes.
She has 4 dogs and a cat. She clearly took care of the dogs, but there was a cat that was left home to fend for itself, which somebody had to take care of so that the cat wouldn't step all over everything. Do you understand?
That's right, yeah.
Okay. And she told you about that.
She never told me about that. She told me that she was going to be out on those days and that she would be...
What days?
I believe was the 23rd that she was going to be out of town. We were just, there would be a good time for me to
Come in.
Yes,
On the 23rd.
I believe so.
Do you remember what day he came in, Miss Russell?
August 16th.
Were you out of town?
Yes, I was.
Okay, so maybe he has the dates wrong. Who was taking care of your dogs?
My son was staying there taking care of the animals.
And how long had your son been staying there?
For about 3 weeks.
Did you contact her son?
When I got there, her son was there. The entranceway to...
So he was there when...
Yes.
So you used your key.
Yes.
Opened it up. Son was there. Were the dogs there?
Yes.
Interesting. Did you have a discussion with him?
Yes, I did.
Did you tell him what you were going to be doing?
Yes, we did.
And he took the dogs away?
The dogs were contained by a gate. They were all contained with the
Who
gate.
put the dogs in that area?
When I got there, it was there already. It was in the main living room.
So
there.
the dogs were already contained?
Yes.
When you did your work, did the dogs remain in the house contained in that spot?
Yes.
So clearly your son had put the dogs in the contained area.
I contained the dogs before I went.
Is what you're telling me your son didn't take the dogs out for 3 weeks?
No, he took them out, but
Well, that's what
he
I'm
put
saying
them
to-
back in the
That's what I'm saying.
contained area.
That's exactly what I'm
Yes.
saying to you. So
Yes.
on the date that he came and spoke to your son, your 54-year-old son, that he's not damaged, is he? In to stain the floors. And I'm sure he had walked the dogs that day. The night before he had walked the dogs, because he was staying at your house, you said, for 3 weeks.
Yes.
So he knew where they were coming. And I assume he also feeds the cat.
Yes, he does.
And changes the cat litter.
Yes.
Great. So that he knew there was a cat there.
Yes.
So he contains the dogs.
Yes.
Because he knows he's coming. Your son contains the dogs, but clearly did not contain the cat.
My son claims that he did not speak with Mr. Nguyen on that day.
Then you should have brought your son. Who did you bring with you?
My sister.
Well, what did you bring your sister for instead of bringing your son? Your son can tell me what the conversation was. You can't tell me what the conversation was. The objective data is your 54-year-old son who you were leaving in a responsible position to take care of your 4 dogs and 1 cat, saw this man come in. He contained the dogs because he had to, at some point, have taken them out and put them back and realized that he had to keep them contained because he was coming to stain the floors. But he didn't think to contain the cat. Where do you keep the cat litter?
In the laundry room.
Good. So laundry room have a door?
Yes, it does.
Then you put the cat in the laundry room with the cat litter, water, food, period. That's what he knows that because he's been taking care of them for 3 weeks.
It is.
Well, you must have had tremendous confidence in him if you left him for 3 weeks. So he didn't use his noodle. Not him. Your son didn't use his brains.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Go ahead.
I was not informed of what Mr. Wynn was going to do. I spoke with him on August 10th when he was at the house working on the floor. So I told him at that time, I said, remember I told you I'm going on vacation and I'm leaving next Saturday for the cabin, so you need to keep me in the loop of what you're going to do. If I had known he was going to stain the floors, I believe it was my responsibility to board the cat, which I would have done. And he didn't keep me informed of what was going on or when things were going to happen.
Listen to me. You hired him and you gave him access to your house. You gave him access to your house so clearly. You look like a lady who likes to be in charge. If he was doing a shoddy job, you wouldn't have given him access to your house and a key to your house. That's how much you trusted him. You also gave your son the authority to do whatever was necessary in your home because you left him alone there for 3 weeks and 1 cat. And a 54-year-old man, when he comes in and says, I'm going to finish the floors, he contains the dogs, and then he takes the cat and he puts the cat in the laundry room with a bowl of water and some Friskies and the cat litter, and he checks the floors, he checks the dogs, takes the dogs out. He's careful.
And
you have
again,
to pay him. Judge for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. Your counterclaim's dismissed. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Half my house was destroyed by cat prints.
In the middle of the job, the cat walked in. There was no stopping it.
He did not tell me he was going to stain the floors. Otherwise, I would have boarded the cat.
By the time I get to it, it was gone. It was a very nosy cat.
I thought that the bank was trying to cheat me or something.
Did you ask your mother about where the money was?
A daughter looks for her lifelong savings.
You closed this account shortly after it was opened?
I don't remember closing the account.
Now her mother goes under the microscope.
I also got several other places involved: the Better Business Bureau, the FDIC, the news.
It's a terrible thing for a child to allege that a parent is a thief.
Judge Judy.
You, Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Ashley Kane is suing her mother, Susan Freeman, for stealing money from a CD.
Order. All rise. It's case number 210 on the calendar in the matter of Kane versus Freeman.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Ms. Kane, this is your mother.
Yes, ma'am.
And it is your claim that when you were 17, which was how long ago?
Roughly 10 years. 12 almost. Actually, sorry, 12.
When's your birthday?
4/28/87.
Okay. You opened up a CD with some money. Your mother had to be a joint owner on the CD because you were a minor. Where did you get that money from?
Well, I'd started working at, I believe, 16, my first job, and I'd been saving up money in my bedroom, and I had 12 $100 bills at one point, and they decided I should put the money, my father, I believe, decided it's probably safer to put the money in the bank.
Are your parents still together?
Yes.
So you went to the bank?
Yes.
Who did you go with?
Just me and my mom.
And signed the papers and let the money sit there. When did you try to close out the CD?
Last year.
Was it a 10-year CD or was it?
It was an 18-month flex in the paper. And last year I went to take the money out whenever me and my husband got married last year and went to buy a home last September. And I've been looking for it since last September.
Did you ask your mother about where the money was?
Yeah, when I started looking for it and the bank said that they didn't have any information, I thought it was strange. I thought that the bank was trying to cheat me or something. And that's when I started asking for some help
Who did you ask for help?
I asked several different places. I started first at the Texas Bank, and then I found out they actually sold the account in 06, 07, and they sold
the account?
Or merged it, yes.
Oh, they merged banks?
Yes.
Not the account. They merged your bank.
They said that they transferred some of their accounts to BBVA Compass. And then I pursued them ever since. But I also got several other places involved: the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the Better Business Bureau, the FDIC, the news, the Channel 5 News. And then I was finally told after a while that I wasn't even the legal owner and that they couldn't give me any more information.
Okay. Did you ultimately get information as to what happened with that account?
I did, about 4 months ago.
May I see it, please?
That's their statement.
After it was opened?
Your Honor, I don't remember closing the account, but if I did it because she requested me to.
This is either you don't remember. That's not what you said in your answer, that you don't remember. The account was closed before its maturity. And is what you're telling me that you have no information about the account being closed?
No, Your Honor, I don't.
So, to the best of your recollection, you never took money out of this account?
Your Honor, I really don't remember if I closed the account or not. I mean, if I did, it was because she asked me to.
No, that's not what I'm asking you. It's not as if I did. This doesn't indicate who closed the account.
Well, that's when she originally asked me about it. I thought maybe the bank did do something with her CD because I didn't remember closing the CD or taking the money out, and she doesn't remember it.
Do you have any proof that your mother closed this account?
I have emails from the news to the bank because I had a lot of trouble communicating with the bank, and the news helped me out. I have information saying that I'm not the legal owner, and it was closed by the legal owner, and that there's only 2 people on the account.
Yeah, that's what she asked.
The top are emails that the news sent me that were between my mom and the news, and then behind it is the ones from BBVA.
Just a second. What she said to me, she said, here, she doesn't remember closing this account, and you don't remember closing the account. Now I'm going to read the rest. Well, this is just Miss Lane from the news speculating when she says this may be a family matter. It could also be a bank fraud matter. Possible, right?
Yeah, I believe that up until they sent me that purge document a few months back.
Well, you mean this one that you gave me already?
Uh-huh. The second page is the one that they said is the last final record they have of it, and it's because it was closed, and it's been 7 years since closure.
I understand that. She says she doesn't remember ever taking money out of this bank for you. I just have a couple of questions for you, because I don't think that there's any proof that your mother closed this account any more than I think there's any proof that you closed the account and forgot, perhaps, 10 years ago. Just for my own information, you went to school, you went to college?
Mm-hmm.
Who paid for your college?
I did.
Okay, did your parents help you at all?
Not with college money. I got some grant for school. I went to a community.
I'm just asking you whether your parents helped you at all for college.
No, ma'am.
With living expenses or anything else? I'm just trying to understand what the family dynamic is that you would think that your mother...
Around 17, I wanted to, I guess, emancipate or move out, and I couldn't. They told me that I had to graduate. Well, I graduated at 18, pretty much, within a few months.
So you
and I moved out immediately.
Just a second. You wanted to emancipate when you were 17. Why?
I just felt that I wasn't allowed to do a lot of things, and I think I just wanted to...
Like what?
Things you do in high school, hang out with friends and go to activities and things. I felt like I was a little sheltered, and I just wanted out. I was working. I had a vehicle. I wanted to live. And so we weren't getting along.
Did you have a boyfriend?
Yeah, probably. Off and on.
Well, I'm talking about when you were 17 and 18.
Yes.
Now, when you left the house at 18, did you move into a place alone or with a boyfriend?
I moved in with a boyfriend in a roommate situation.
Okay, fine. Miss Kane, I would love to be able to help you, but I don't have enough evidence to suggest that your mother closed this account and the account contained money, according to you, that was your money gathered from your work. Now, she doesn't have any recollection of closing the account. And you don't have any recollection of closing the account at probably a volatile time in your life.
Yeah, I moved away and actually never came back to Crowley. I moved to Keller first.
That was your plan. And it was your plan to move in with your boyfriend.
I moved in with my grandmother for over maybe a year or more before I moved in with him.
But that was your plan to leave the house.
Yes.
And you did know that you had the CD when you turned 18. So when you turned 18, you became a legal owner of the account. You were, in fact, a legal owner of the account. You were no longer a minor. You were a legal owner. So when they say that the account was closed, then the bank says that the account was closed by a legal owner, I don't know who that is. And you can't prove that it was your mom.
And only her name is on the closure document and not mine. And it says the amount and it says the date closed. And I was not even in town that date.
No, it's just a short, her identification number is here. She may have been primary on the account. She may have been primary because you were a minor.
Right. And I heard it stays that way. I'm learning things as I was researching through the bank. If you don't change it, does it not just stay as a minor situation, or unless you go and have the bank
No, because they list your date of birth. They have your date of birth when you open up the CD. Anyway, Miss Kane, it's when what? Okay.
I just wanted to add that her mother...
You're her husband?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
Some of her replies, she's indicating that, well, it's possible I took it out to help you and so, but this, that. So it's very vivid, wording as to someone with no memory.
No, what she said is, it's possible that 10 years ago, because she needed money for whatever, car insurance or whatever, I might have taken the money out. I don't remember whether I did or not. It's also possible that when your wife, Mr. Kane, wanted to emancipate herself when she was 17 and was forced to wait until she was 18 and still a kid, took what she could from the bank, and now she was 18 and she can take the money out of the bank as well. And it's possible, and it's also possible, Mr. Kane, that when the bank merged with one bank for another and some of the accounts were sent someplace else, something happened with what we call sort of dead accounts that nobody's had any activity on for a while. The bottom line is, courts can't guess when they call somebody, in effect, a thief. And I'm not prepared to do that without proof.
To our best understanding, even with her turning 18, she wasn't still allowed to take it out without the joint agreement. She was still nothing changed after.
Listen to me, what you're telling me now is information that you may or may not have garnered from third parties.
No, ma'am.
No. Okay. And I would make this suggestion to you. I hope that you and your wife stay married for a very long time. But she only has one mother. She can have a whole lot of Mr. Canes. And I suggest you keep out of it. Let her.
I fairly do.
You keep out of it and don't stoke it. Do you understand? I wouldn't stoke it because, I mean, it's a terrible thing for a child to allege that a parent is a thief. Stole my own money and I didn't know about it. That's a terrible thing. She may believe it. There's no proof of it. Do you work?
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of work do you do?
I work at the college.
And you've worked there for a while?
Off and on. I worked for 4 years while I was going to school, and then I stopped, and then I went back to work.
Prior to this business with the CD, had you enjoyed a reasonable relationship with your daughter?
Yes. We were talking until she said she found out that my signature was on the closing papers, and...
Her signature's not on the closing papers.
They wouldn't give me any signatures because they said that they didn't have anything.
Just a second. That's the bank's problem.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today...
She was your girlfriend.
She was.
And she was ill.
Yep.
And you were taking care of her.
Yes.
And she was taking care of you when she was able. They're living together. Were you living together with her as a couple?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Ashley Kane says her mother, Susan Freeman, stole money she had invested in a CD.
That's the bank's problem. They may not have things because they were sloppy in the transfer. But if you had a reasonable relationship with your mom and you're married, you're almost 30 years old, right? I would not want to believe anything negative about my parent. I wouldn't. I can't suggest to you that you modified the way you're thinking, but I'm telling you that based upon what you showed me, there is insufficient proof for me to find that your mother took the money out of the bank. Okay, we're done. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
It hurts. It hurts a lot. I have 4 daughters, and she's the oldest, and I've done everything I could for my children.
I didn't believe it. I still don't want to believe it.
And I'm still doing things for my children today, and I guess I'll continue.
But I just wanted to know what happened to the account.
Oh, it's hurted a lot.
I still never found out what happened to my account.
I've done everything to help her up until then, and since then, and I didn't deserve this.
Bank error is what it sounds like. Collect $200.
I hope she has a very happy bond.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Berenbaum versus Adams. Step forward.
Robert Berenbaum is suing his ex-girlfriend, Stacy Adams, for loans to put a down payment on a car and to pay for medical and living expenses.
Mr. Berenbaum, according to your complaint, Miss Adams was your girlfriend. She lived in your apartment, your house. Is it a house or an apartment?
House.
House. For a period of time, she's no longer your girlfriend, and you claim she owes you money for a car deposit and for some rent. Miss Adams says that there was a rental arrangement when she moved in, that she agreed to pay you $750 a month. Is that how much the rent was?
That is correct.
$750 a month. You moved in December?
I moved in the end of November. December 1st was the first payment.
So December 1st, she gave you $750, correct?
It was $700.
Say $700. And you accepted the $700.
Yeah.
Great. And January, she also paid you $700.
I don't think so. She got sick in January.
Well, let me see. She moved in December. We agreed on $750 a month. Right. That's what you say. Not long after she moved in, she ended up having some surgery. When was your surgery?
My first parenteral hernia.
When?
It was January 15th.
So you didn't work in January?
I did not work for 8 weeks in January into February.
Okay, so did you pay January and February?
Yes, Your Honor. I get paid every end of the month, so it's a month behind. So I paid December, January, and February. March, April, I did not pay.
And that's because you were out?
Yes, and I had 2 surgeries in that time.
Okay, and you acknowledge that she had 2 surgeries?
Yeah, she did. But
right.
She didn't pay me what she claims. She only paid me twice for rent for December, and I have 1 check for February.
Okay, great.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
We don't have the same rules with people who live together, and when things don't go right, the courts are going to occupy their time with litigation over vitamins. It's not going to happen.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Robert Berenbaum says ex-girlfriend Stacy Adams owes for several loans.
Now, she was your girlfriend.
She was.
And she was ill.
Yep.
And that's why she wasn't working. Otherwise,
right.
She was working, right?
Correct.
And you were taking care of her.
Yes.
And she was taking care of you. Mm-hmm. And then there's some nonsense here about a down payment for a car. When was that?
It's not nonsense. It was in, I think it was in December. No, actually, I can tell you the exact date. Actually, November 2nd, I helped her with the down payment. It was a loan.
November 2nd.
2015.
Mm-hmm. A year ago. Now, when she moved in December and she paid you, according to you, $700, did you ask her about the November loan?
Yeah, I asked. Yeah. She didn't get paid all summer because that's the way her work structured
Well, we're not talking about during the summer. We're talking November. November 2nd is when you gave her $1,100 towards the down payment.
She only got paid monthly. She didn't have the funds. She said she'd pay me back when she could.
Okay. Well, she can't. Because her defense to your action of these rent payments after her surgery and this year-old $1,100 is that that's what people do when they're living together as a couple. Were you living together with her as a couple?
We were, but we had a rent agreement.
Yeah, that's fine. Anything else you want to tell me?
Me in particular? Yeah,
just you. I'm not asking for any questions.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, there was a bunch of loans made during that time for living expenses. I have them all outlined here. She paid for the DMNs and Amazon for $418, surgery for $225.
Mr. Birnbaum, have you ever been married, sir?
I have.
And you divorced, I assume?
Yes.
You went to court? When you got divorced, did you go to court?
I did, but it wasn't. It was just I was just by myself.
It was an uncontested divorce?
Yeah.
Was that in what state?
Texas.
Did you have to divide property?
Mm-hmm.
And there were rules in Texas about dividing property with a spouse, I assume.
Yes.
Whatever they were. Either it's an equitable distribution or it's community property, whatever it was, you know what the parameters are. Do you understand? Unfortunately, we don't have the same rules with people who are housekeeping together. And we don't have courts that can indulge people who live together, and when things don't go right, the courts are going to occupy their time with litigation over vitamins. It's not going to happen.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, if things had worked out between the two of you and she had her surgery and then she went back to work, everything was okay, we wouldn't be standing here. Things didn't work out and all of a sudden you and I are talking about vitamins.
I mean, she agreed to pay it all back. She wrote out the debt she owed me.
Good. Very good. Then she should absolutely pay that back. But we are in a court. We're done. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I moved in November. I agreed to pay him rent for my living, and that included utilities.
She started paying rent, and then she got sick, so...
And when I got sick, I wasn't able to pay.
She just stopped responding to me.
It was harassment. He was like a Jekyll and Hyde.
So I didn't get the impression that she was going to pay me back at any time soon.
There was a moment where he was nice and I'd help you, and the next moment it was I hate you, get out of my house.
And I don't think she purposely took advantage of me, but she just didn't get a chance maybe to pay me back. I don't know if she was going to. It just felt like it was never going to happen.
Really understand who a person is before I start dating them and living with them.
I guess don't give people money for whatever reason.
I'm happy it's over.
You were doing some work for Mr. Hill.
Controversy.
He had talked to my ex-wife. She told him that I had been stealing his customers.
But will his firing?
He wanted his keys. I said, I want my check.
You were owed some money.
Yes.
Sink this business owner.
I gave him the check for $15.70 because he was holding the keys hostage.
I went to cash the check, and they had stopped payment on it.
I wouldn't push it.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Pool technician David Ditzler is suing his former employer, John Hill, for unpaid wages.
Order. All rise. It's case number 191 on the calendar in the matter of Ditzler versus Hill.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Mr. Ditzler, you were doing some work for a period of time for Mr. Hill in pool maintenance.
Correct.
How many years did you work?
6 years.
Did you work for him as an independent contractor or were you a paid employee?
Independent contractor.
Were you paid by check or cash?
Personal check.
What does that mean, personal check?
It wasn't a payroll check where he took taxes out.
You filed tax returns every year?
I did, yes.
Did you report all this money?
Yes.
How much money did you earn? And did Mr. Hill give you $32,000 in checks?
Approximately, yes.
Did you do any other work in, say, 2015, other than work for Mr. Hill?
I buy and sell various items at auctions and online, and I sell them on eBay and Craigslist. And I've done that for about 10 years.
And I assume, based upon what I'm reading, somebody is going through a divorce. Who is that?
Mr. Hill did.
What about you?
17 years ago.
Do you have children?
My son's 18.
Was Mr. Hill ever contacted by your former wife?
I believe so, yes.
Recently?
According to Mr. Hill, yes.
To find out, I assume, what your wages were, what you were getting paid.
Yes.
Is that because you were in arrears on payment of either child support or alimony?
No, Your Honor, she wanted to increase the rate of child support. At the current time, I owe...
At the current time, you owe?
I owe $800.
But she had gone back to court for an increase?
Correct.
When was that?
Mid-May or early June. I don't know exactly.
It is your claim in this proceeding that Mr. Hill owes you for some back wages. You and Mr. Hill did, in fact, part company. In what month?
It's May 2nd. I'm sorry, May 3rd, 2016.
Around the same time your former wife contacted him?
Correct.
And at that time, you were owed some money?
Yes.
My reading of this is that let you go, he owed you some money, and you wanted the keys back.
That's correct. He had keys.
He had keys for all of the houses that he serviced, or the outside of the property that he serviced for your company. And those were approximately 40 keys or 20 keys?
40 or more.
40 or more.
Yeah.
You wanted the keys, he wanted his salary.
Correct.
His income. Can you tell me, you have a pool maintenance company?
Yes, ma'am.
How many employees do you have?
2.
And what's the name of your company?
Neighborhood Pool Service.
Do you pay them a straight check, or do you take withholding?
They're contracted. It's 1099.
And you 1099 Mr. Ditzler as well?
Correct.
Your Honor, I've never received a 1099 from Mr. Hill in 6 years. So I guess he made...
I got it.
Go ahead.
I got it. You gave him the keys, and he gave you the 2 checks. And when you went to the bank to cash the 2 checks, he had stopped payment on the checks.
Well, we met. It wasn't in his office. We met every Tuesday and Thursday to get supplies. He supplied the material. So I met on the Tuesday morning after I had worked 3/4 of the day. He met me, told me he had talked to my ex-wife. She told him that I had been stealing his customers and his chemicals. He wanted his supplies and his tools, and he unloaded his tools personally out of my truck. Put him in, didn't want to do it. We went back and forth for a second on a little street in Beverly Hills, and he finally agreed to give me a check in exchange for the keys. I immediately went to the bank, and within 10 minutes I was in Studio City, and I went to cash the check, and they had called him on the phone, and they had stopped payment on it.
Why would they call him on the phone?
To verify that I was supposed to be having that check in hand. I wanted to cash the check from his branch, so they wanted to verify that he gave me the check.
I see. You didn't want to put it in your bank.
No.
You wanted to make sure it got cashed.
Yeah.
How much was the check for?
That check was for $1,570. $1,570.
And you accepted that in payment of your wages.
Yes, and I had another check that had just deposited 2 days prior for $900. It was in my bank.
That you had posited that he gave you?
The week prior.
And that...
Then I realized that 2 days after the other check was no good, that he stopped payment on that check in addition, which made my account overdrawn and I was charged fees.
Okay, Mr. Hill, it's on you.
Essentially, what happened was I was contacted by his ex-wife. She was looking for.
I don't care what I don't care what she said to you.
Okay.
Actually, I don't care.
She informed me that.
No, listen to me. That's hearsay, and you can't tell me what she said to you.
Okay.
Do you understand? All I want to know is you gave him 2 checks, $1,570 and $900, and you canceled.
I gave him the
those...
check for $1,570 because he was holding the keys hostage. At the time, the Levy account, and he told me, yes, I did. I'm servicing it, and it's just one account. You shouldn't worry about that. I discussed it with him and said, you know, we have an agreement, this signed contract right here, that states you won't solicit or take accounts, and if you do, that you would owe me, because it's common in our industry.
Just a second. Can I see it, please? Well, I don't understand. This says it's dated August 31st, 2010, and he promises not to solicit anybody
during the course of employment or after
just a second.
dismissal.
No, I'm reading it. It says, and it's dated August 31st, 2010, and it says that plaintiff, acting as an independent pool person, acknowledge that I'm responsible for my own income taxes. I promise not to solicit any pools that John Hill Neighborhood Pool Service has on service for a period of 5 years. And then it says, I, David Ditzler, acknowledge that if pools are solicited anytime prior to June of 2021.
Well, it was open-ended. That was put on there after his dismissal. That part was open, and then we put that in at the time of dismissal as people leave, because people leave at different times. But he signed it and left it.
This was signed by him in 2010.
Correct.
It's a poorly written contract.
I recognize that now.
You understand that now?
Yes, I do.
Okay. I just want you to recognize that.
I do.
And since you drafted the contract, it has to be construed most strenuously against you, because you were the one who drafted it. And what this says is, dated 2010, that he can't service any of your clients for 5 years. It doesn't say, in addition thereto, we will place the date of his dismissal.
I know.
You understand?
I do.
Now you understand.
Yeah,
okay, so you owe him
I see the error there.
Right. There was an error there. Yeah. Great. You owe him $2,470, because that's the amount of the 2 checks that you gave him. Listen to me. That's the amount of the 2 checks that he
But
gave
there was
you.
2 days that was supposed to be paid on the 1st, May 1st. I worked May 2nd and May 3rd. We met on May 3rd.
Listen to me, sir. The fact that Mr. Hill got snookered by not having a well-crafted non-compete doesn't mean that you did what you knew you were supposed not to do by taking his client. I wouldn't push it if I were you. Do you understand?
I understand, but I didn't take clients.
Well, you did. He asked you if you were servicing Levy account, and are you servicing that account? Very easy to find out.
No, I'm not.
Did you ever?
No, with Mr. Hill, yes. When I was contracted with Mr. Hill under his pay.
You never received any pay independently of his from this person? Because it's very easy to figure out, I guess. I just picked up the phone. You work here, right?
No, for maybe 2 weeks.
2 weeks is too much. Now you understand?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
How can you prove to me that it was yours?
I guess I can't physically say you didn't throw it in the pool, you took it home and sold it, but it's online and, you know, looks like a duck, walks like a duck. It's going to be a duck.
You're absolutely right.
And later today.
All I see is that you made a $5,000 profit. Those are the numbers. You're not losing. Why would you want to say anything?
It's just, I never got any
Just
information.
a second. You're not losing. Why would you want to say anything to me?
Okay.
I mean, are you stupid?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Pool technician David Ditzler says former employer John Hill owes for wages. John is countersuing for stolen property and stolen pool accounts.
Now, what kind of property can you prove that the plaintiff stole from you?
Chlorine tablets.
But how can you prove to me that it was yours?
Well, when you sell a bucket of trichlor for $90 at wholesales for $115 and he's taking it and using it, I guess I can't physically say you didn't throw it in the pool, you took it home and sold it, but it's online and, you know, looks like a duck, walks like a duck. It's going to be a duck.
You're absolutely right.
Mm-hmm. There's diverter valves. Right. There was a cleaner that was removed from one of my clients' homes worth $400.
Well, I don't know that. And you don't know that because you don't have anybody here. But I'm actually interested in the container that you just told me about. You have proof that he sold a container of something.
Multiple containers on several occasions.
I'd like to see it.
Is there printouts of that?
Yeah. Because if it wholesales, and then you're going to show me what it wholesales for. Chlorine tabs, 50-pound bucket, $90. Okay. And you sold that online. This is from your online business.
Many others.
Just a second. Can you tell me where you got this from?
In 2000, I believe it was 14, there was a pool man in Burbank that I knew. And he had a heart attack. He came ill, and I bought everything he had. He had drill presses, air compressors, pool equipment, and all of his chemicals he had left. And I bought it at that time. In fact, I even told Mr. Hill. He had pool fences. He had all kinds of various items.
You know, I'm not so sure that you can reach your threshold of evidence unless you have something else to show me.
The only thing I could show you is the true cost of that stuff. I don't have any solid proof of where Mr. Ditzler received his stuff from, but...
I don't necessarily disagree with you, sir, but if what he's saying is that he bought the whole lot of this guy's stuff in 2014, and he was selling it off piecemeal, that doesn't mean that I necessarily believe him. However, it's a question of proof that at this point I don't think that you can support. Now, if you had somebody who allegedly told you that he was taking property of yours, that person may have known something, so that maybe if I had that person as a witness...
But you just told me I couldn't.
You couldn't, but you could have had a witness here.
I tried like heck to get her to come.
Okay. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $24.70. We're finished. Thank you.
Why did you excuse me? Step out.
Sometimes things just don't work out quite the way they're supposed to.
I think she was fair.
He's dishonest.
I didn't steal any of his customers.
Clients told me what he was doing. He was soliciting them.
Why would his customers fire him and want to hire me?
Lesson learned.
Just don't work for a con.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of McDonald versus Musgrove. Step forward.
Janessa McDonald is suing her ex-boyfriend, Jesse Musgrove, for truck payments, insurance fees.
The plaintiff was your girlfriend for a period of time.
Correct.
And at some point in the relationship, you had a car, truck. Was it an SUV?
It was a truck.
When was it purchased?
We purchased it in October of 2014.
And you primarily used it?
Correct.
And Miss McDonald co-signed for it?
She did.
And that was in 2014?
Yes.
At some point, did she refinance both her car and your truck?
She did. That was after we had broken up, and I was not aware of her doing it. She just went and did it on her own.
In what year did you refinance the car and the truck?
Your Honor, we purchased the car together September 25th.
I don't care about the car.
Okay,
I'm only talking about the truck.
Okay, it was refinanced. We were still together at the time. We were making plans, so.
What month and year was it refinanced?
It was refinanced June 2nd of 2015.
Okay, I'm going to come back to you. You made the payments on the truck.
I did. All of the payments.
At some point you broke up. Do you remember when that was?
It was around June 2015.
So at about the time she refinanced the truck.
Yeah.
And you took the truck with you.
I did. And I continued to make the payments.
Just a second, and you continued to make the payments on it. Until when?
I made payments until January 2016, when she asked for the truck back.
And was there still...
And I was still making the payments.
Now, you took back the truck in January?
That's not correct.
In what month did you take it?
At the end of February. February 28th.
Just a minute.
It was January.
Just a second. And at some point you sold the truck?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, if you co-signed on the truck was in both of your names?
Yes.
So you signed off on the bill of sale?
For the original, that was in both of our names, but not for her to refinance the truck or sell the truck.
When you refinanced the truck, did you refinance the truck and it was in solely your name?
Yes, I asked him.
Just a second.
Yes, ma'am.
So that would be a yes.
Yes.
So you refinanced the truck, and the truck that had been owned by you two jointly is now solely your property.
Yes, Your Honor. May I say something? We were still in a relationship.
Okay, it's very close.
It is very
It's
close.
very close.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You refinanced the truck and broke up in the same month. That's very coincidental. It's your truck. If you sold it at a loss, that's it. The courts can't help you.
Even if I have text messages saying that he...
Absolutely. You can have a constitution.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Janessa McDonald says for a truck they purchased as a couple.
Now, you sold the truck.
Yes.
And you sold the truck, according to you, for $10,000.
Yes, ma'am.
And the outstanding loan on the truck was about $2,600. Was about $2,600. And you say that the truck needed repairs even before it could be sold.
Yes, Your Honor.
Another $2,500. So that's $5,100.
It was a little less than $2,500, Your Honor, but close.
Great. So say $5,000.
Yes.
And you sold the truck for $10,000.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you shh. So you made a profit of $5,000.
No, Your Honor.
Well, if you sold it for $10,000 and there was $2,500 left on the loan and $2,500 for repairs, $5,000. Those are rough numbers. And you sold it for $10,000, then you made $5,000.
The loan was for $25 and change, so I paid that $2,500 there.
Just a second. You said you sold it for $10,000. You paid $25,000 to pay off the loan, and I'm doing rough numbers for you, and $25,000 to fix it. That leaves you a $5,000 profit on your truck.
I had no profit.
Well, you certainly don't have a lawsuit against the defendant for a whole host of reasons. One, you refinance the truck whatever you want with your sole property. You want him to pay for the repairs, for car payments that you made, for insurance that you made. All I see is that you made a $5,000 profit. Those are the numbers. You're not losing. Why would you want to say anything?
It's just, I never got any of that information.
Just a second. You're not losing. Why would you want to say anything to me?
I just wanted to point out.
No, just
okay.
I mean, are you stupid?
All right. I'm not stupid.
I just said to her, she made a profit. You have no case against him for two reasons. One, because you made a profit, and two, because you refinanced the truck in your name. So it was your property. So why would you want to say anything?
I don't.
Great.
No longer.
Your Honor, I did not make a profit. I'm failing to see where you see I made a profit.
Well, if you sold the truck
to pay off the loan.
No, the loan was, according to you, was $2,500.
No, ma'am. The payoff was $12,543.
Oh. Okay, well, that's not what it says in your complaint.
That was what the truck was upside down, because I sold it for $10,000, but the payoff was $12,543.
You sold your truck.
The truck that we purchased together.
I don't care.
And that he was driving the whole entire time.
It matters not.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com.
Now, you refinanced the truck and you took it out of his name and put it in your name. You did that all on your own. I assume you gave him no input into any of the repairs that you did on the truck because it was solely your truck.
Your Honor, when I finally was in touch with the defendant in February, he told me that he was not working, he was living out of the truck, and the truck was non-operable. He had drove it to the point where it could not be driven. So in order to sell it, I had to make the repairs.
Your truck.
And I have text messages from him.
Just a second. Your truck. You're not a married couple. There's no equitable distribution. There's no community property. You took the truck out of his name. You assumed all of the responsibility for it when you refinanced it. If you let him use the truck for 3 months or 2 months or 5 months, that's your right. But according to both of you, you refinanced the truck and broke up in the same month. That's very coincidental. It's your problem. It's your truck. If you sold it at a loss, that's it. The courts can't help you. It's your property.
Even if I have text messages saying that he
Absolutely. You can have a constitution. Goodbye. This case is over.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy,